figure out how you can.
Called and he
Okay, we'll
was
call the
scared.
meeting to
I
order.
thought the cat followed me.
Another
He must have
brand's
been
voice.
sleeping out there.
Absolutely.
He's following me
Call
on
to
the
order.
tractor,
We'll
one of those
start
big
with
tractors. And he
Introduction.
says, and I can't get him to quit, so.
Yes, we'll
Because he
go
was
around.
so
We'll start
newborn,
here, go
every
around.
time the tractor moved, he was gonna follow whatever was moving.
Yeah.
Poor little
My name
fella.
is Brian Simonson. I'm the Deputy Executive Officer, facilitating this meeting from this chair. Lindsay, you're up.
Myself?
What's your name? Just introduce.
Lindsay Simon, Department of Livestock and Board Council.
Raina Blackman, livestock producer from Wolf Creek.
Joe Kip, livestock producer, Glacier County.
You guys go ahead. We'll go around here and then we'll get.
Sorry.
Go ahead.
Leslie Doley, Program Manager for the Livestock Loss Board.
Mike Honeycutt, Executive Officer, Department of Livestock.
Doreen Gillespie, livestock producer, Etheridge, Montana.
Jordan Mannix, livestock producer, Helmville.
John Samsel, livestock producer from Stanford. And then we'll go in the back. People sitting in the back here. You already did it once, but you can do it again, officially.
Jeremy Gallagher, Blackfeet Agriculture Fence Crew Supervisor.
Welcome.
Craig Ironpipe, Blackfeet Agriculture Director.
Welcome.
Butch Gillespie, Senate District 9 and Ag Producer.
Joe Bradley, Bradley Ranch, Montana Conflict Reduction Consortium, and Rocky Mountain Front Ranch Landscaper.
Thank you. Anybody on Zoom?
We have nobody on Zoom, Mr. Chair.
Okay. Okay, we'll go to the approval of the minutes from our last meeting, February 26th.
Mr. Chair, before we move on, I'm sorry, I should have told you ahead of time. Two announcements. One is the minutes on the agenda were changed from what was published originally. I think it's what probably was in your board packets or was mailed to you. It's February 26th, 2026. Now it says, it's been corrected to February 24th, 2026. And then Mr. Honeycutt has an announcement he needs to make.
Yeah, some housekeeping. So, we received a memorandum on April 21st from Lieutenant Governor Juris with regard to AI note-taking at public meetings of boards, commissions, and council meetings in the state of Montana. So there's been some questions about the use of AI note-taking, that tries to transcribe the meeting and some of the issues surrounding that. So the state has not adopted a formal policy. So we've been asked to make sure that all boards, councils, and commissions know that AI note-taking, transcription, or summarization bots are not to be used until a formal policy is adopted by the state of Montana. I think the main thing there is just trying to make sure that this recording and everything is the official transcript, the official documentation of the meeting. Any other transcriptions that people do are not official. So just wanted to get that out of the way. This is the first time you've had to do it. We actually got this memorandum while the Board of Livestock was meeting, so we had to do it halfway through, but we'll read that at the beginning of all board meetings moving forward. Thank you. That's all I have to say about that.
Okay, it's a good thing. Okay, I guess we have somebody that's on Zoom.
Mr. Chair, a tie. Could you, if you would, identify yourself? He's still on mute, Ty. I think it's Ty. T-Y.
Well, we can move on.
There we go. Yeah.
Okay, so I guess we'll go back to the approval of the previous minutes, at February 24th. Guess we need a motion to approve.
I move we approve the minutes from the February meeting.
I second it.
Oh, and we gotta make sure when we make motions and seconds, we gotta say your name so that
Okay,
the person
Raina
doing it.
made the motion to approve the February minutes.
Doreen Gillespie seconded it.
Okay, then moved and seconded to approve the minutes. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion carried. Okay, go to the budget and claims status update.
Mr. Chair, I'm gonna run with the budget. We're on the red tab, tab 1. It's the brown sheet. Let me scroll down on this. This is the monthly budget reports, a comparison report of last year to this year, how we're doing. The department produces monthly. So I'm just gonna go down the page and kind of highlight, what I think might draw your attention. So year-to-date expenses, I'm in column C and I'm kind of looking down that column. So total personnel services are 32,674 so far this year. As compared to last year of 77,917. So obviously, with Leslie coming on board and being half-time, we have quite a difference there between the two years. The other thing of interest here, is that the budget in column B is 52,575. That number was reduced a couple months ago when we shifted $61,000 from that personnel number down to row 15, depredation remediation. So we're taking another 61,000 of this general fund that we were operating that we had in personnel, and we're spending it on claims. So that's the budget move there. We're doing just fantastic as far as expending money, at the personnel dollars at the rate to get us through the year. So we don't have any concerns personnel wise or operations, quite frankly. You can see there again, back on column C, moving down, we've spent $12,404 total operations, row 13. We have a pretty sizable budget for a one-person operation. And so there'll probably be some corrections that go on there over the years now that we're under a little bit different operating system. And we'll see if we can use those operating dollars somewhere else. But once again, we have 2 months left, and you can see all the way over on column F, we have $30,000 left. So we're doing quite well. Benefits and claims, row 15.
Was that all due to salary, the 30,000?
The top, where are you at?
Oh, I'm on F13.
F13. No, that would be, so, row B or column B, I'm sorry, 42,800 is all devoted to operations. So not everything that isn't personnel or claims is covered under operations. So that's what the legislature over the years, we've built up that amount of budget over the years. And right now we're only spending 12,000 of it. And if we were to ever get out of paying rent at some point and move Leslie back into this building, then we would even have less need for some of that operation dollars. The thing about governmental budgeting is that it just keeps growing. Inflation just keeps happening every single time. And so our expenses just aren't what they probably used to be. We have legal counsel now, where before we didn't have legal counsel. So all of that was expensive to go out and buy agency legal services and that kind of thing. So they've shifted a bit. So we do have, and then Leslie is not doing as much travel as George obviously did. So we're not doing too much in that area either, but those are our numbers.
You mentioned they're paying rent, is that the milk control, is that your,
The little
that little
house
office?
across the street, yeah.
Okay, so what's is there a problem for giving that up and getting her moved back in here or not?
Space constraint in here is the problem.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, for sure. And we'd have to pay for that space anyway. So see that we've got file cap, we've got a lot of logistical stuff in that space.
Oh, I could move out of there.
No, she couldn't fit it in any office in here until we get it all cleaned out.
Okay.
So it's probably 6 months worth of project or something to maybe.
I don't know, it took me a couple hours to go through one shelf. I haven't even gotten close to the file cabinets yet, so
We're going paperless.
Okay.
it's gonna take some time.
I was just curious.
Yeah,
But
it's,
yeah.
2007 worth of paper in that office, paper.
Sounds like our basement at home. Only more.
Okay, I'm sorry, I'm on row 15, depredation remediation, so we have spent, again, back on column C, we spent 212,000 of general fund operating dollars for, and I mean operating as in like House Bill 2 ongoing operations, that also includes operations personnel and all of that. Which is, you can see last year, and the budget originally was 150,000, so we spent all of that we had already by this time last year. And we've spent all of our 200, we've overspent a little bit on that amount for the year. So, that's what we want to do. We want to spend all the general fund operational dollars first before we delve into the funds that we can roll over to the next year. So total budget then, total operating budget, which is above that line between row 21 and 22. We've spent 257,699. We have 2 months left and we have 48,000 left to go, which would be plenty. So, the budget for Livestock Loss Board for 2026 looks really good. Below that line, starting on, row 22, is all of our statutory appropriations, which, so back on column C, if I'm on row 24, that 95,103, that's what we voted on to send to Wildlife Services of the carryover from last year. So that's what that money is. The row 27, the 337,649, that's what we've done in grants so far this fiscal year. So February and May, I can't remember. July, I think was it, July, and February. Of which Evan has a note at the bottom that we have I'm on the second to last block on the bottom. Sorry. Keep up with two things. So right here, Evan's got a note that says there's currently 168,175 of cash available for grants. And that's what we have available to spend today. And of course, whatever we don't spend will just stay in the bank and in the investment. So no worries there for today's business. Next one down to row 30, depredation remediation, 11,072. So you can see we've got $300,000 budget that happens there every year of statutory appropriation for claims. We've only spent 11,000 of it so far. So that number on the far right, balance of the budget, 288,928. Sometime in our next meeting, in 2027, you'll just be deciding on most of that, because I don't think we'll have a lot of claims between now and then. But a lot of that, you're gonna have to decide on where that money goes between Wildlife Services and prevention grants. So a lot of resources left for claims. And that pretty much, down in the columns here, you can see a synopsis of the program. So we say the personnel services budget is 62% expended with 80% of the payroll complete. So those are really positive numbers. Operations are 29% expended with 75% of the budget year. So again, way more than authority than what we need. And then I was looking at the very bottom of that block. As of April 30th, 2026, Livestock Loss Board has expended 84% of its budget. So we're doing well. We're being only 2 months left in the year. Mr. Chair, that is the budget report. It doesn't require any vote or anything like that, but it's for the public and your awareness. What isn't on the agenda, and I thought I would just see, because I'm going to turn the floor here pretty quickly over to Leslie, she's going to run with the show to a large degree, but I thought I'd just give the board a little bit of update on legislation since the last time we met. Maybe I should pause, Mr. Chair. Is there any questions on the budget before I move off of that? Mr. Chair, then, May 6th was the deadline for us to submit our legislative request to OVPP. We have not had any discussions with them as to date. That probably won't happen till, it may not even happen until like September or so. And then it's in September that the final legislation has to be done and all buttoned up. Right now, we basically have some language suggestions and some concepts over to OBPP. So just for a reminder for the board, we put in to add donkeys and alpaca in the public, to add donkeys and alpacas legislation. We also included to add eagles as a predator species. I actually think that is gonna turn into migratory birds or whatever that
Better
language.
protected, yeah.
Very good, thank you. And then guard dog injuries was the third piece of legislation. And then just an FYI, that the $100,000 that we voted on to transfer to Wildlife Services, that won't actually be legislation. That'll be a House Bill 2 request, an executive proposal, EPP, the acronym. So we'll submit that to the governor. June 5th is the deadline that'll be submitted, and then there'll be follow-on discussions with them at some point.
Okay.
For all of our EPP, but that will also move forward. So just a little bit of where we're at, getting ready for the next session, Mr. Chair. That's my report.
Thanks.
You're welcome.
I don't suppose Dalen's on.
Well, the second half of this is claim status update. Before we get to Dalen, I would turn it over. Okay.
Okay.
Mr. Chair, members of the board, Leslie Billy. I think I emailed this out to all of you, but this is just the sort of status update for claims numbers as of the end of April. I did just get 2 more claims this morning that haven't been processed in. One was for 12 sheep in Stillwater County that were killed in October of 25. And one was for 2 calves that were killed in Lewis and Clark County in April and May of 25. So the 25 numbers continue to grow until that administrative rule goes into effect. But I just keep adding to this 2025 depredations as they come in. So the statewide map is the first page. It gives you kind of that visual representation of where depredations are taking place. And on the next page, it breaks it out by the predator species, again, visually, so that you can kind of see where those depredations are happening.
Sorry,
You're good.
by species.
By species, yeah. And then the third page, I did have a request to add this table back in that breaks it out by county, predator and livestock species with the numbers and amounts. And so this table gets you into all the details of those maps. And
These
then
were verified by Wildlife Services?
correct, those are only depredations
25.
that I have paid out claims on.
Oh, okay,
Those don't include investigations that have not been paid out. Yeah, it's just what we've paid out.
because we don't pay unless it's verified.
Correct, and they have to submit a claim
I
to us
understand that,
too,
yeah.
which we'll talk about. in
I
a
was thinking
minute.
25
Yeah,
a while ago.
yes, they're 12 months old, those
Yeah.
ones, yeah. And then again, the cumulative, this just kind of gives you the year over year or the comparison from one year to the next for the last 5 years. And we're just slowly continuing to grow that 2025 number as those late ones come in. And then the last page just gives you the breakout of when the actual payments went out the door. It's not as interesting to look at because you usually like to see when things were killed. But this just shows when the claims are actually being processed. And if there's no questions on that, the last page of this tab. So I requested some information from Wildlife Services so that I could try to get an idea of what to expect in terms of claims that have not yet been turned in. And I was a little surprised at how many there were that have not submitted a claim. So that first column, unclaimed losses, those are investigations from Wildlife Services that were either confirmed or probable. So they would have been an eligible livestock species with an eligible finding on their investigation. So they went through the trouble of getting an investigation done, but they haven't submitted a claim yet. Again, I got two more this morning, so the number at the bottom goes from 98 down to 84. But it's still a pretty big percentage.
Yeah, 25%, wow.
Yeah. So a couple things, obviously there's caveats to this. If it was an animal that was injured and didn't die, we wouldn't pay it out. If it's someone who just doesn't care enough, you know, maybe it was something they don't think has a lot of value, they just don't want to bother with the paperwork, whatever, it's possible. But there's a fair number of these that are cattle. And so I'm really surprised that there's a fair number that just haven't submitted their paperwork.
Now, when they wait to submit something like this, I'm just curious, do we go back to the price of cattle at 25 or do we pay them today's?
So the
That's an,
policy, right, the current policy is that we pay on the date of death,
okay.
Yep.
Thank you.
so that doesn't change, yeah.
Okay.
Yep.
I know I'm asking this
No,
question.
you- So one of my goals this year, and hopefully with a new public information officer, is to do some work on outreach to try and make sure that people are aware that they can make these claims. And obviously, if the rules go into effect as they're proposed, there will be a deadline on this, and so it'll all tie in really well to try and really raise awareness that people need to get their paperwork turned in.
And like Leslie, we were talking earlier, and she cannot notify each specific person and say, hey,
No,
you guys need to submit this claim.
Council,
it's their responsibility.
you said you can't?
So Wildlife Services can't give me the full
The name.
information, so what I get is the investigation number. And so I can compare, once I get a claim from them, I know who they are and I have their investigation number. So I know which ones are investigation numbers that I haven't received yet, and that's how I project these numbers, or that's how I created this information.
So do you think, the forms are user friendly enough, or what else can we do?
I would like to maybe make a few changes to them.
Mhm.
One of the things I'd like to maybe work on a little bit this summer, but, I don't think that's really the number one issue. I don't know, maybe it is.
I don't know either. I will say that in my situation, I can remember getting in the mail, saying, okay, I can do this, and putting it in the box.
You know.
And then months later, finally get my paperwork done and sending it in. I don't know what I could do, because usually it's during haying's time or something that the claim would be sent to me.
Mhm.
I don't know how, it seemed like it was fairly simple though. John, you've turned in, haven't you?
No, we never have.
It was fairly simple. But it took some time to do it.
Mr. Chair, Mr. Skip, I would offer that, we're about to start interviewing for a public relations officer for the department. And maybe, and Leslie's done a fantastic job of energizing the Facebook page and that kind of thing, but maybe there's a professional that comes in here and gives us some other ideas for how to reach out to the public and, you know, prod them in a good way.
But then we wanna be careful that they don't swamp us, they will break us. 98. And those are confirmed, they're probable, they're payable claims that just have not been presented for payment.
But then I don't think we have any. What if somebody comes up 5 years later and wants to turn in a claim for something?
We've got a number now, a deadline.
When it goes into effect.
Yeah, I hadn't done.
No,
Yeah.
from the old days too.
Oh,
Remember, Doreen, I thought we was a year
I think it was a year, yeah.
from
Way
the
back.
time of death or something.
Mr. Kip, that definitely was discussed, but there was never an action item taken on it or moved to.
Oh,
Really?
But it
I
did.
thought it was.
I thought we voted on it.
I did too.
if,
Our buddy was there.
I can go back and, I'll have to go back and verify, but
Maybe he didn't, but I thought we jumped through the hoops and had
I thought we did too, what I remember, but that was a while ago.
But if it hasn't been, we need to get that in
Absolutely.
place.
well, the rulemaking has gone, there'll be an update on that, but that is putting a deadline on it, the February
Okay.
1st. Right,
Okay,
yeah.
yeah. I mean, I can't imagine some.
Chair, this is Tyrell. I was just gonna make a comment on that if you guys are open to it.
Yep.
Yeah,
Okay.
just from personal experience filling out the form recently, I thought the form was great and was pretty straightforward and simple. The thing that held us up on, we were after some DNA testing, so it took us longer to verify some higher end ewes that we had and get those blood samples sent in and the results back. You know, and then you get into lambing, like your reference to haying season or whatever, and then it just takes time to swing back around to the paperwork side of it. But I thought the process overall was quite acceptable, and definitely appreciate the push on the Facebook and other posts recently to get our attention back to it. So thank you.
Thank you.
Mr. Chair, just FYI, that's Tyrell. That was the Ty that we tried to get off mute earlier. And then Carolyn Johnson is also logged on
Okay.
online.
Wait.
And along with Mr. Tidwell, he's ready to go also.
Okay. So is it all we have on that? So we can go to Dalen then? Item 4 on our agenda?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Okay,
There.
Yeah.
you got me, all
Yeah,
right,
keep going.
all right. Excellent, Mr. Chair, members of the board, I appreciate the opportunity to be with you. My name is Dalen Tidwell, State Director for USDA Wildlife Services. Kind of it seems that our schedules are always kind of overlapping a lot of different things, and so I miss being there with you, but appreciate the opportunity to zoom in today. I'm actually attending, well, even a step more, we're hosting the National Non-Lethal Initiative workshop training right here in Montana, which actually brings in 7 Western states and then Minnesota and Michigan as well. Both all levels of experience with the non-lethal program and the methods and tools, and some young folks that are just gaining awareness and how to do their job. And then, of course, they asked us or selected us because of our experience and to kind of showcase in a way the success that Montana has and more or less to give a good example of what could be done and the relationships that have been developed in the efforts here in Montana. And what comes with that is, of course, hosting duties of keeping the agenda and getting all the sites, the site visits and those sorts of things all coordinated and organized and whatnot. So I am a little bit double booked this week, but I did want to just kind of bring the board up to speed on wildlife services, kind of the latest. As we've talked over time, with the hiring freeze has put quite a constraint on our administrative staff, and I'd like to say I'm doing double duty, but it's more like 12 jobs and extra help. I do have one data tech still, but as you are very aware, she also manages all the IRs and ORs. Well, I should step back. MIS, and we've now changed to a new ORS system as well, and so that's been. In fact, I'll talk a little more about that here in a minute, but just with that constraint and a little bit of relief coming, we were able to get approval and announce a budget analyst position. We were part of, I believe, 13 other states in this mega announcement or national announcement, but that we'll take whatever help we can get. We'll hopefully be able to or have a good applicant, make a good selection that will keep our books and relieve some of my extra duties to keep things rolling. I kind of feel inadequate sometimes to the point where I feel I'm not doing any of my jobs really well. It's kind of I'm doing them all good, but not a one of them very well. So hopefully I can get back to doing the good work, but and then separate those extra duties and keep us in tune there. So I'm excited. I guess if you can't tell It's going to be a good thing, but it'll take time and patience. I ask for patience a lot from most groups, but we're going to be, in the training, and it may be months before we even get them on the ground here in Montana. So it's just one of those things that at least we have something on the horizon. So that should relieve some pressure. And I mentioned ORS. That's our new data management system. Unfortunately, without going into detail, it came to us half baked or half half cocked or however you want to say it, but it's a lot of the functions aren't quite all cooperating, and so it's been quite a task to bring over old agreements into the new system and get data input in. And where this really applies to you all is we have a validation system where when an investigation report comes in, we don't let it pass go until everything's checked and balanced through our our OR system. And with that causing a roadblock, we're delayed in that validation process. With that said, though, we've agreed to not let it slow down any of the details of getting compensation back out to the ranchers. So we are able to just go through one by one, verify the data, document it, get those in the mail, and get them turned around, as soon as possible. We'll have a lot of backlog, I'm afraid, when we do get back to logging it into the new system with the extra validation. But that just aligns our information preciseness with the national PDRs requests that always come and want to know from the national perspective of our data to ensure that it aligns exactly with our investigative report data that you all get, and of course is the key to the compensation program. So anyway, just to give you a little bit of an update there with the saga of our ORS frustration. You might even hear some of our specialists throwing up their hands and being frustrated, but I got to hand it to them. They're wanting to do it, and we're trying our best to get it worked through. But it's one of those things where even on our level, we don't have a whole lot of leverage or any control of the system itself. It's in the tech world and that sort of business. So anyway, just wanted to kind of bring those things to the surface for you all. And what I will do, just for numbers' sake and to kind of keep everybody up to date on investigations themselves, I'll just kind of roll through by species if that suits you all. I can first start with the black bear. So far, we've got a total of 9 distinct IR counts for black bears. It'd be 4 calves, 2 goats, and 3 sheep. And I will always qualify that this is the federal fiscal year, so starting October 1st of this last year is where we start and end our numbers here. Grizzly bear, 25 total count, and 16 were calves, and 10. I guess that's actually more because I've got an extra one in there that was not grizzly, but 10 cattle. And then mountain lion, we'll go down. Alpaca is 1, calf 1, goat 5, lamb 1, sheep 5. And then our wolf count thus far is 9 calves, 3 cattle, 3 guard dogs, and 2 lambs, and 3 sheep. Everybody likes to ask, well, is that normal and those sorts of things. It's all big blur to me. It seems like anymore on the season's been kind of standard. If you look at just straight numbers, the season has been weird with the weather. It was kind of a little bit delayed. We felt like we weren't really getting them, and then all of a sudden they started coming in. So a lot of those, maybe Leslie has not even, has not even accounted for on her list of projected. Those are still coming probably in the last couple 2-3 weeks, in fact. So So that kind of gets us up to date. I, of course, will open to any questions or any interest.
I read someplace that on the national level, it, it passed that Wildlife Services would receive an additional million. It hasn't been appropriated. Do you know when appropriations might occur?
I really don't
Is
know
it-
the finer details of that. I know it was through the House portion was designated to in the, I don't believe the extra million was specific to operations. I think it had something to do with improved methods and tools. We really don't know what that entails for operational groundwork. And exactly if that's additional funds or if that's just a statement that we must use. I guess I'm not positive if the funding came with it, or I did hear that that is an assignment of that extra $1 million. And it came with, there was some, they call them trespass horse, feral horse project was involved. An increase in feral swine and also, the non-lethal initiative. That was another one that we were assigned to have more use of the existing funds that we have.
Okay, anybody questions for Dalen? Okay, thanks.
Yes, thank you. Appreciate it.
Okay. Move on to old business. Data rules.
Mr. Chair, Lindsay's gonna give an update on the rules.
Thank you. The old business number one, administrative rules, public participation. I don't have an update for you since your last meeting. We had gotten direction from the governor's office that they were gonna work on some public participation rules that would be applicable to all agencies and boards under the governor's jurisdiction. So I haven't received any update on that. So it's just on hold. But the second one, at your last meeting, you approved us to go forward with some rulemaking on the timeliness of claim submissions. So the comment period for that has ended. We didn't receive any comments from the public. So I expect that rule to be adopted and effective May 22nd. So we're in the process now of submitting the adoption notice and getting that reviewed by the Secretary of State's office, but it should be published with, if there are no issues between now and then, on the 22nd. And when it's published, it becomes effective.
So so any of these past ones that Leslie was talking about, will they be grandfathered? I mean, or is that it? I mean, they're not submitted by the 22nd, that's it, or will they be grandfathered in?
Oh, that's a good question. I would say, yeah, I guess it depends on a case by case basis, like if there's any timing issue that comes up, where maybe someone wasn't aware of it. I don't think there's a problem with us, like, taking a little bit of grace period there for people to get up to speed on it, but it should apply going forward. I would say unless there's some special circumstance, we would just apply the new rule once it goes into effect. What do you think, Leslie? Mr. Chair, I guess I was hoping not to confuse dates at all and just focus on that February 1st deadline and really focus on making sure people know that that's the deadline all the time, every year, and not have May be a deadline this year. And that,
Yeah.
I feel like
That
that's gonna
makes
create a
sense.
lot more confusion.
Yeah.
So
Okay,
since that's the first deadline that's coming, I guess that was I hadn't thought about it a lot, but that was my knee-jerk thought of how we would
okay.
implement
Well,
that, but.
They do have the appeals process if they disagree.
Okay. Anybody have any questions on Zoom or anybody in the audience? Okay. That all you have, Lindsay?
Yes, that's all I have.
Okay, thanks. Guess we'll go to item 3.
Mr. Chair, under tab 2 in your packets, this is a request by Weavish Conan for, the rest of their grant. If you guys recall, we approved a portion of their grant, but did not approve the purchase of an ATV and storage facility. And so in talking with the applicants, we came up with, I don't, she's not on that Zoom call, is she? Keely?
No,
Okay. So we talked about it a little bit and what would be a good way to sort of, I think as Doreen put it, trust but verify, right? So, we came up with, first of all, are you going to use it outside of range riding? The answer was no. They do enough range riding in any time of year that they can, that is the only use that that machine would have. But my proposition to her was, if you have a range rider, they're supposed to be doing a daily log anyway, log the odometer on the four-wheeler as a way to verify that that's how it's being used, and you can, it's something you can take a picture of and say, yes, look, you can prove it. And so that's essentially what she put into the letter. It's kind of towards the end of it, of the last couple of paragraphs on the second page. They talked a little bit about what she proposed to actually do, so.
so I assume, so one thing, when you keep that daily log or whatever miles, I think hours is almost as important as miles.
And I think she'd
They
be
can just
fine to
add
do
that.
one, I mean, if you'd
Yeah.
rather have hours instead of odometer, I don't think that's.
Yeah,
It's both right there on
I was
the,
gonna say, I think hours is more important than miles, probably.
Does your ATV record hours?
most of them have both.
Yeah, you
The
can
newer
push
ones
a
are gonna have both.
Mine only does.
You can push a little button.
Mine's a little,
Yeah.
The
If
new
it
ones
works.
have both.
yeah.
So are they still requesting to be for the storage container too? I don't know. It didn't mention anything in this letter.
Yeah, she didn't go into detail on that. I assume yes, and she talks a lot about, the remoteness on all of those things, and so I think that's.
Cause in that last paragraph, it said it will be properly stored and protected from the elements.
Yeah, that's kind of the only mention of
So I don't know.
storage.
They still wanted to be of a storage container paid for or not?
Mr. Chair, I would assume, and it's an assumption, but I would assume that the way she worded it, that she's asking for
Storage container.
her original grant request.
Yes.
Okay.
So
Okay.
To complete her original grant request.
just to refresh, the original request was for $29,617. And we awarded $20,517 and put off the $9,100 that would have been attributed to the basically 70% of the four-wheeler
Yeah.
and the 70% of the storage.
Anybody else? Any comments on that?
So when I take my four-wheeler out to the field, I haul it out, drive it around all day, and I haul it back home. So,
And they were doing that, but it's several miles.
yeah, but you're not putting any
No.
miles on the ATV because it's in the back of the truck or on the trailer. It would be really nice if I had a shed out to my corrals. But I don't know if it's justified.
I agree. I still think that may be a little reach to ask for some place to keep it beside.
For me, that it is a reach.
Yeah.
I have no problem with the ATV now that they've specified how they're gonna use it,
Yeah.
but. Storage on remote storage, I don't know.
With ours sits outside.
Raina, Jordan, do you have anything to say about that?
I think I am mostly in agreement with what was said, that, we kind of have a submission today that's similar, so I was wondering about setting precedents, but with the ATV and potentially a dump trailer, I know that I had somebody ask me if the potential of writing a grant for, I call it the meat wagon, but the carcass pickup truck. You know, they're aging out and as, you know, those are big ticket items that it just. Yeah, I'm curious about how we'll vote on that, to be honest.
Raina? I guess we need a motion to. For this remainder.
I would just like to see the daily log versus the monthly. You know, it says mileage will be documented monthly. But the range riders themselves have to have a daily log. I'd really like to see the daily mileage. That's just me.
I'm with you, Raina. I think the range riders can be the same with four-wheeler.
I mean, I like the idea of a house for it, but everyone's pretty handy with a set of bolt cutters.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, I never thought about that, but yeah.
Anybody else have any comments that's listening in?
Oh.
Let's check. Okay, guess we'd entertain a motion. How we wanna go with this?
So Joseph Kip makes the motion that we grant them the 70% of the cost of the ATV.
I'll second that.
Okay, Raina seconded it.
Sorry.
It's been moved and seconded that we grant the 7,000, what was it? For the ATV. They caught their share of it anyway.
Yeah, the 70% share of the ATV.
Okay.
It was 9,200 total, correct?
9,100 was the total. And so the ATV was 8,000 and the shed was 5,000.
Well, you can do the math.
Okay, we have a second? We did. Oh, yeah, Raina, I mean, do we, okay, then moved and seconded. Grant them the money for the ATV. All those in favor, by saying aye.
I
I have a question. Was it the full price of the ATV or 70%?
70%.
70%, yeah, okay. So your vote.
Aye.
Okay. All those opposed, same sign. Motion carried. Okay.
So just for
Reset.
references, 5,600.
Yes, sir. Yeah. Anybody want to take a break or keep moving?
Keep over.
Okay.
Mr. Chair, not that I'm trying to force a recess, but I will suggest to everybody, and that includes everybody in the back row, there's snacks and drinks, and Donna spent a little effort, so if it doesn't get touched, somebody's feelings are gonna get hurt. Let's eat some cookies, people. Thank you.
Okay,
Go attack it, Rich.
so are we taking, are we trying to keep going?
You know, I've drank,
Anybody want to keep?
I've drank a lot of coffee, it's
Okay,
like
go ahead.
15
I have a
minutes.
break.
5 minutes. Very good.
But we'll be fine.
We are on a 5-minute break. Just give me a minute to pause things. You could, yes. Start the audio. Yes, sir, you're good to go.
Back in session. So we'll go to new business. Land application review and awards.
All right, Mr. Chair, members of the board, we have a summary right under tab 3 that gives you a breakout of all the applicants and their requested amounts and kind of the general location and just a basic description of what their request was for. So this hopefully will kind of keep you on track. I just want to point out column 2 pages. Hopefully I learned from last time and this will be a little smoother. The pages in red will correlate to the board or to the applications. And it's in giant red letters in the lower right-hand corner of each page. It says grants pages and then the page number. So in theory, we shouldn't have to hunt like we did last time. That was a lesson learned the hard way.
Great.
So do we want to just go through these in alphabetical? Okay.
One question before we get started, please. So, what percentage of livestock? What, if they have 100% of the livestock, what percentage of that can they apply for a grant?
10%.
10%. What is the value of a cow?
So I use the same valuation process that I use for claims.
Mhm.
So it's gonna be based on the AMS. For cattle, it's AMS. For
Mhm.
ewes and rams, it's gonna be the Mouse City sale. For lambs and goats, it's gonna be AMS.
Did you go through that on all these and they all fit the 10%?
Correct.
So what is the value of a sheep?
So ewes right now,
Mhm.
according to the 2025 sale, the average, which is the sale average that we use, is $410.
Wow,
That
Okay.
should go up.
that's too much. What the hell?
Goats are doing really good, right?
What are goats?
Goats are bringing like $5 a
They're
pound
higher.
right now.
Well, how many pounds is it?
Um,
70 is the magic number.
So
well,
350?
I think they're higher, goats are higher than that.
Really?
I think so.
they're, yeah, I mean, it depends on what, it depends quite a bit on what they are, but, you know, your 50 pounders are bringing 250, 300 right now.
Good.
And then your does are gonna be closer to 300.
There was a pay sale yesterday, so I could probably get an idea, but
AMS stands for,
Uh, what is the acronym? Company marketing.
Ag
system.
marketing.
Ag, thank you. I'm like, what's the A? It's ag marketing.
It's a part of USDA.
Statistics. Yeah. And so it's a Montana only market report and it gives you breakouts by age, gender.
Hmm.
And so you can get pretty close to, that's what we do. That's what we use for the valuations. Rather than a single sale born, it's a kind of an average for the whole state.
Yeah, I guess just to put a finer point on that, so there are certain livestock that is required reporting to USDA, and that's where that information comes from. So they try to collect and make publicly available information on livestock markets, even though livestock markets are spread out all over the place and very regional. They try to collate all that information in one place, and certain types and species are required for auction barns and things to report that to AMS. So that's where those numbers come from.
okay. There's no question, we'll get started. Okay. Leslie.
All right, if you want to go to grants pages 1, our first applicant, this is Baldy Mountain Ranch, Josie Sutton. He's looking for dog food for his guard dogs. He's out of Lincoln. And he's got a little bit of everything, I think, as far as predators. I heard him tell stories about mountain lions chasing him down the road.
He must be fast.
He had a lot of dogs with him, so. And I haven't had a claim from him this year, but I know I've seen claims under Baldy Mountain, but, he's got his information on losses that he's had there as well.
If it's not readily apparent to the board, Mr. Chair, I was just gonna make a note that I think everybody but Ruby Valley Conservation is brand new in this grant cycle, so.
Oh,
Mhm.
Baldy Mountain
I recruited
Ranch.
them personally.
Yeah.
Yeah. I go through you.
Holy cow. Baby goats.
Did you got a scoring sheet on the back of it?
Oh, so sorry, the last page, so grants pages 5 is the scoring sheet for this producer. The score is at the back. Maybe I should have put them at the beginning, but they're at the end of each application. That's page 5.
for a total score of 20.
Correct. I mean,
Just
the
a-
way it is now, because we don't have a lot of spread on the scores. It's mostly a pass-fail
Right.
process at this point, so we're gonna talk about that later.
Everything looks good. Do we have a motion to approve?
Well, do they send in the receipts so that we kind of like that trust but verify? I mean, Raina mentioned that too, that we need to have receipts to make sure that we're covering this properly. I mean, $368 a month for these dogs. I'm fine with that as long as I see a receipt.
Mr. Chair, I am hoping, I'm working on a reporting form because there hasn't really been much standardized. Some of the groups have a really detailed report that they put together as part of their whole program. Like Centennial Valley does something that's pretty elaborate and it covers everything that we would want in terms of the information. The folks that don't have that, I want to have a form that they can use as a template to get us what we need, which obviously is going to include attaching the receipts for
Yeah, which
purchases and stuff. Yeah.
Good, yeah. That's
Absolutely.
nice, rather than just.
Yeah.
Thank you, Leslie.
But it is a reasonable number. It's $74 a dog. and
Yeah.
it's a-
Oh, yeah, I just think it's nice to make sure so that everybody's on the same page when they're sending things in,
Mhm.
not distrusting them at all, just.
Well, no, that math should have been checked. I'm not saying you should have checked it, but no, that's a reasonable.
Yeah.
I mean, I feed the El Chico dog food and I know some livestock guard people feed their dogs very well.
Yeah, the farmer's dog, I hope they don't feed them.
Rancher's choice.
Yeah.
But I have to feed that kind of stuff because my dog gets high blood sugar.
Really?
Yep.
Mm.
Yep.
That's a bummer.
Okay.
Well, I don't want this me to make all the motion. I'm saving my
Somebody needs
motion
to.
for a little further down the line.
I can do it. Jordan Mannix motions to award the Baldy Mountain Ranch the grant amount of $3,095.
Second,
Joe Hip will make that second.
okay. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
I
Okay. Motion carried. Okay. Next meeting.
All right, so the next application starts on page 6. This is the Mon Ranch out of Broadwater County. And they're just looking for range riding.
It seems like a very, low number for range riding.
Yeah, their depredation history is a little older. They've got wolves in 11 and 12.
Mm-hmm.
and they're only riding 3 to 6 days a week. Maybe this is an experiment for them. They'll try a dip their toe in the water and go bigger later.
So one thing, I will question on this, you know, we do have the losses are in 2011 and 12 that were investigated by Wildlife Service. I guess in this situation where there's 700 or 350 cows and calves, or 700 total, I would really appreciate knowing that, hey, last year there's X amount that are missing when we brought them back in.
Yeah, I mean,
We don't know if he's having a problem. He doesn't express that.
I think this is.
Other than that, I'm fine.
Was that a motion?
No, that was just a comment.
That is, I kind of questioned that myself too. I mean,
That's a good call, Joe.
13 years past.
Yep.
You know, so.
And I could see if he comes, says, you know, when we bring him back home, there's 10 calves missing or something, you don't know what happened to
Is he
him.
crossing a state line when he's doing this?
No, it doesn't
I
look
mean,
like.
not a state line, but a county line? Because he could show the inspection.
I don't know.
That would give him, I don't know either. That would certainly give the number.
It
Yep,
might be an adjacent county in which you could go on.
and even if it wasn't, if if he would record
Yeah,
what his corral count is, or have him counted by somebody.
yeah, I agree.
Leslie, what does do you know what the requirement says? It doesn't stipulate anything about whether or not it's confirmed or probable kill or
Correct.
anything like that.
From my recollection, even in statute, it just says that the board will prioritize grants for areas with a high predator load and areas with chronic depredation. It doesn't say the board can't give grants with low depredation. It just says that the priority should be given to those that have more of an issue and more of a predator load.
And fill me in again, how much we have left over if we fund everybody?
It's meaning 68
Probably 90,000.
minus 77.
90.
Yeah.
So we have 77,000 for the next cycle.
You'd have
No,
90,000
91,
still
this
left
is
after today.
requested,
Okay, wow.
that's available, so 91.
90,000.
Mr. Chair, you're gonna have, July 1st, you'll have another 100,000 plus half of whatever that 288,000. You'll have to have half, you'll have half of that also going that direction.
But it does kind of put a question out there, why they did not report any losses for for the last 13 years.
But even suspected losses.
Yeah, I would assume that the assumption on my part would be that he only thought he was supposed to report confirmed or probable losses,
Okay.
wildlife services claims.
Okay.
I don't think we are clear at all on what we mean by.
Yeah.
And another speculative thing I would offer to the table is that when you look at this, there's new applicants today, and it's also,
Very good.
some of these are sort of new.
Unaware.
Oh, yeah.
And these are also Broadwater County would be a new location. I don't want to step outside of my expertise, but I would just say the nature of where predators are and might be is changing in
Yeah.
the state of Montana. Is that a fair thing to say?
Yeah.
And so there could be a little bit of preventative here of recognizing some things moving into the area and wanting to get ahead of protection as well.
We are,
Say,
we are trying to be more user friendly.
I will say having new applicants definitely shows me where the holes are in my application, and I have a list of things to fix. If one person misunderstood something, it's like, oh yeah, I can see that, and yeah. So,
Also, if I can interject, I can't remember what it says on the application, but I think it only asks if you've had confirmed
Yeah,
problems.
true.
It doesn't ask if you've been having problems.
When? Yeah.
Trina, and when you're sitting back there, the camera's hard to catch you and your voice too, so just say who you are.
Oh, I'm Trina.
Yeah, I think it's.
Okay. We have a motion to approve.
This is Joe Kip. I'm gonna go ahead and make the motion to approve the grant for multiple different reasons, but for $5,267.50 for the range riding on the Han Ranch.
Second.
Jordan Annick seconds it.
Okay, and moved and seconded to approve the Han Ranch application. All those in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same time. I only heard Did everybody approve? I only heard two. Maybe my hearing's going on. Everybody, okay. Okay, motion carried. Okay,
All right, page 15, the next one, this is for Jess Leach. Jess is out of Liberty County. In Ledger, they're looking for guard dog support, and then this is also a thermal request. They did do a really good job of explaining how they were going to use the thermal and some of the issues that they've had with wolves moving livestock around their property and breed up issues and things like that.
For the sake of discussion, I will move that we fund the scope,
second.
Just the scope of the whole thing.
just the scope.
There's,
The dog food can be a second motion.
we need a second.
I'll second, during Gillespie
Okay.
seconded.
Okay. Discussion?
I can't, I can't approve of purchasing a thermal scope. They got cameras today. That, the thermal cameras, and we got them on our ranch, we got them all over the place. And they alert us in the middle of the night, coyotes are in the field. Yeah, and they're cheap. And, I can't mount it on a rifle. And we are non-lethal, preventive, so.
Jordan, you made a comment last time, when you were a range rigger, you weren't allowed to pack.
Yeah, or they, I think at least for the first several years, it was highly suggested, like just bear spray. If you're worried about your own safety, you could pack it, but that wasn't what they recommended. I think they were highly suggestive that I use a non-lethal. And I did, just because I didn't own one, but, I have looked through those thermal scopes and it is very impressive what you can see through them, so I could see why they would be a useful tool, but I, might be going back on, I think I voted for it on our last cycle. And, Joe makes a good point that there are probably other,
You can tie them into your phone, be sleeping, and mine will buzz and say coyotes in the field.
Really says coyotes.
Yep, now maybe dogs or a fox, but it tells us it's coyote.
and I'm sure these aren't cheap, but I know you could technically buy a thermal camera for taking pictures that would, you couldn't mount it on a scope and it would probably have the same, I think I Googled it last night, it said like a distance of 10 kilometers or something, so I thought, no, that's about what those scopes claim.
Well, if it's less expensive, then you can get it, that's.
I don't know the answer to that, I just,
You know, the bears and all that, it doesn't, you can move them remotely. But they don't move on their own. But we have some on the trails that alert us to bears when they're there. And it's really nice, you know, if you get like a text message saying, you got a bear in your backyard. And then if you're curious, you can from your phone, aim that around. Scan the area, see if there's more than one or whatever.
Wow.
And very affordable. I think it's less than $100 per month for the subscription. And there are a couple, $300 per camera. I think we got 6.
Wow.
But it's 100 for all 6 for the subscription.
You know, on the Rebish and Conan one, we requested more information.
That'd be a good call.
Are these cameras, would these cameras be acceptable to Jess? I'm just throwing it out there that we maybe postpone. I can't vote for the thermal after reading the mission statement. I could deal with trail cams, but even so, Jess is not in a high predation area.
I think it's getting to be more so all the time.
Okay,
It is, he's down by the river, so I'm sure there's bears down there. But I really would hate to have somebody busted, charged with shooting an endangered animal, and they got the money for a thermal scope from us.
Yeah,
So that would not give us any kudos with the government.
maybe,
And there's comment, public comment.
Yeah, I don't know if this is where the idea came from, but I do know that, and Rainer probably remember this too, I think you were wool growers in Conrad, long about January, something like that. Anyway, the local wool growers have their meeting up there. And I think it was Mike Colvin, wasn't it, that put on the presentation
it was,
of the thermal scopes and spent quite a bit of time elaborating on it, so. I don't know if that has, it could have something to do with why they decided to go that route, that's all I'm.
and maybe they're like I am, they're unaware that this other, that this other thing is available. I didn't know
Could
that.
be. Yeah, cause they just talked about rifles and the scopes and
Yeah,
all that business, so.
Well,
That's probably where the idea come from, and maybe you guys could deal with it from there.
well, I'm sure part of it was we awarded our last meeting. We awarded somebody the money for a thermal scope. And so that's I'm assuming that's part of where this is coming from.
hmm,
Well, I did ask the question last time, if we award money to buy an ATV, are we obligated to now buy a horse? What we did in the past doesn't obligate us going forward, and that's just where I stand on it. I'm just trying, when I brought up binoculars, here's an alternative. Trying to be user friendly. I mean, trail cams would definitely, besides being on guard, on duty 24/7. Here's do they take pictures?
Mhm.
Well,
They'll send you pictures.
you can send that to Wildlife Services.
Yep.
This is what I've got.
Yep.
Even binoculars won't do that.
I'm not advocating one way or the other, but I think in this case, it's pretty wide open country, isn't it? Where these guys, their place. I mean, it's,
There might be some.
They're right down by the river though. So they gotta have a lot of breaks there.
legend,
Yeah, it looks like I don't know if that's the Brias.
would they have to have a lot?
Yeah, that's,
Scattered out all over the place to detect stuff.
Tiber. They're next to Tiber down there.
we go that far.
But like, we've got those cattle now, our cattle are on a big flat. And we've got, right in the middle, we put up some windbreaks. And we got those cameras looking at where the cattle bedded. And it alerts us when the cattle get up and start moving. And it's like cattle are agitated. And it wakes you up, beep, beep, beep. And you can look at it, scan around, see if there's any coyotes, dogs, or whatever. And usually it's just some damn little calf that's run off, mom's chasing it. But you don't have to go look, you can do it right from your house. My son-in-law is really lazy, I don't like that. They have technology,
Oh, you feel bad if you got whacked by a grizzly bear.
No, I wouldn't. That'd be a great war story.
Reminder for the board, we are live streaming. Well. Do we want to?
Joe Kip, make a motion and let's approve the dog food.
Oh,
Well,
we
you've got a
got one
motion on,
motion.
we got one on the
Oh,
board
yeah.
already. Guess we need to vote on that first. On the scope.
Well,
Okay.
I don't understand Carly Pro enough to say, can we go back to him with night cameras?
I think we need to vote on the motion first,
Okay.
or either pass it or fail
Vote
it.
it down and then we can discuss.
Yeah, so I think we need to have a vote. Yes or no here and then. Move on from there. So
I don't know.
we can certainly communicate.
Yeah,
But don't we kind of have to vote as a board that we would be okay with them? With night cameras, cause I don't wanna go back to him with night cameras and then we fail it.
Well, we stay on the motion.
yeah.
Night cameras is a secondary thing here. We voted on the,
Okay.
We need to vote on the scope first.
yeah.
Okay,
So. All those in favor of awarding the money for the scope, signify by saying aye. Opposed, same sign.
Aye.
The motion failed. Now we can go to
Dog food,
dog food, I guess.
may I, Joe Kip, make a motion that Jess Leach be approved his 70% matching grant for his dog food, for his livestock protection dogs.
Which is $1,622.71.
Can you say that one more time?
1622.71.
Okay, is there a second to that?
Jordan Mannix, second it.
Okay. Then moving seconded to award $1,622.71 for dog food. All those in favor, signify by saying aye.
aye,
Opposed, same sign, motion carried.
okay. I move that we approach Jess Leach with the idea of putting up Joe Kip's cameras.
Wish I could sell them.
Do we need a motion for this, or can we just have?
Mr. Chair, my only advice on that motion might be to make it very broad.
Yeah, I was gonna say.
Okay, go ahead.
Okay, well,
No, your wording, I'll say so moved.
So like a different, a non-lethal. means of
Non-lethal, yeah.
not-
Identifying predators.
Yeah, don't specify one.
Okay, that's fine.
Hmm.
I told you I won't be upset.
She's just gonna storm out here shortly.
I just,
You won't.
I want. Well, if you get really upset, I'll just get mad and then not re-up on. But anyway, just trying to be user friendly. You know, we said no to this. Would you consider this? Would you consider a non-lethal method of identifying predators and applying next grant cycle? Maybe that's more of a recommendation than a motion.
Yeah, I would recommend.
I would say,
Need a
yeah, I don't
motion.
think we.
That's
would
just a
have
board
motion
directive.
regarding this right now. Maybe Leslie can contact him and say,
Yeah, that's exactly what I did with the last one, is
Yeah.
I just called them and talked about it. Do you guys want to just wait until the next grant cycle to go through it? Then, do you want a new application, or do you wanna just, I mean, how do you want that presented?
Well, a new application would mean less paperwork, wouldn't it?
no, it'd be more.
It'd be more for them.
Yeah, but you made it simple. An application.
I would think the next grant cycle would be soon enough. It's, not like he couldn't get through this year without it.
Exactly.
And we assume the next grant cycle is probably December, January timeframe.
Yeah.
Yeah, we'll talk about that when we're done with this. So I'm hoping we can get it rolling a little earlier next year.
Okay.
And as far as the cameras go, I'm not an expert. I don't even know what the damn name of the things are.
But there are other non-lethal,
Yep.
right?
Yeah.
And if somebody wanted to visit about it, I will volunteer my son-in-law. He's the techie guy.
Okay.
He's got it all figured out. And he would be willing to share information.
I mean, if you really wanna get. I mean, you can buy. You can mount things on four-wheelers and lasers to drive around and look at stuff too, you know, thermals and stuff like that too. I mean, I suppose we'd entertain anything non-lethal probably. But he wants to.
Apparently drones.
Our drones, yeah.
Yeah, there's some-
That'll
coming
be next,
up.
yeah, that'll be next.
Automatic.
Okay, so is that good enough for what you
Yep.
need?
Yep, I'll follow up with him and work with him on just reapplying for something different. next time.
Okay. 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 Next, week. Milligan Ranch, I think is the next one.
Yeah, Milligan Canyon, and these, I'm sorry, the page numbers got really tiny on me. It starts on page 23. So this is a new technology.
Hmm.
The person who developed this contacted me. They've had some producer meetings in the area. And it's quite a comprehensive system. It sounds like if you guys kind of went through that. They're also looking for some range riders. So there's the tags, the drone, and then there's like an app service or online service that kind of goes along with it. So there's alerts that happen. The tags go in every single animal. And then they have some range riders to go with.
I do like his depredation history, even if it's like 24, he said 12 calves,
That he put
unknown,
in.
no reported or reported missing. And it was an idea they're probably out there someplace, let's say the 25.
Well, for the sake of discussion, I will move that we approve funding for the ear tags and drone. Oh, Raina moves that we approve funding for the ear tags and drone for discussion purposes.
I seconded Doreen Gillespie.
Okay. The move and second to approve. This grant, any discussion?
How many acres are we talking?
I think it's it.
They had several supplemental sheets, so there's a lot of information.
I think the idea of drones was going to get more. And how, so,
I mean, I like the concept that if
yeah,
you got this one tag over here and it's not moving, you can go take a look. I don't know if these tags are like the sage grouse collars, sage grouse chick collars that, you know, when the snake slithers off, you know where he's at after he's eaten the chick.
And the ear tags, it sounds like are presumably reusable for 3 years, I believe. So they'll pull them out of the calves in the fall when they ship and then,
They must be in there good, yes.
right.
Even like our EID tags, just they fall out all the time and they're
Oh, they're the worst
supposedly.
falling
Now,
out.
retention is
so
sometimes
these are
tough.
better, evidently.
But I mean, however much it was up top, that's probably worth saving as many as you can.
And the
Well-
reason, Raina, you don't wanna go with the Range Rider is,
Just for discussion purposes, people sitting around the table seems, I don't know, apprehensive about this, so I split it out. I don't have anything against the Range Rider, but the drone thing seemed to be.
It's new.
It's
It looks
new,
like it.
yeah, it's new.
yeah, I would agree with you, but I do like the idea, and I guess I'm in favor of approving that. Probably without the Range Rider though, if you're gonna use a Range Rider, maybe we don't need all the other stuff.
Mhm.
Or I'd say one or the other.
I agree with you there. Yeah, you don't need both.
It's new technology, it may come back and just asking for real detailed reports, if he can prove. Show next fall that, hey, these are, says he's reported missing, that we know where they went.
I'm almost inclined to believe that the drone, you would get more information back.
was a little unclear as the drone, like they're hand in hand.
I don't know.
It seemed like it may have some,
There's a service that's monitored,
okay.
I think.
I wondered if it needed the ear tags to work the drone.
That's what I was wondering too. It doesn't really tell us that it's searching for the ear tags.
Well, the cost is $15 per tag plus $12 per tag for the service. So I assume that's for whoever.
So
drove
the under,
livestock
yeah,
monitoring it.
under drone services, it says GPS tag data is collected at the same time as thermal imaging during drone flights.
Yeah,
Allowing precise ID of individual animals during aerial monitoring.
I think either range rider, I think drones, if they're gonna have drones, they don't need range riders. Does same thing.
Mr. Chair, if I can make a comment,
Go ahead,
this is Trina again.
please. We need some help.
I would say that these are two very different things. So the tags will tell you where your dead calves are. But range riders keep your calves from being dead. So in theory, they could work in tandem because range riders are out there and present and keeping the predators away from the cattle. But the ear tags are telling you if they did get into your cattle, this is where it is, so you're gonna be compensated by livestock.
This is Dory, and I totally disagree because I think, having both of them is, kind of excessive. And I think one or the other, you can tell if the cattle are moving or if they're running, you can tell something's out there. So I think either one or the other, in my opinion.
You know, taking what Trina said. I mean. It's fine to. How do I want to say it? It's fine to have that drone up there telling you that there's a calf dead. But it's kind of too late then. You know.
Well, when the range rider shows up too and the calf's dead, it's a little too late then also.
Yeah, but it may be at least but I mean, the drones can't move cattle around, you know. The
Wow.
range rider can kind of. move
Well,
cattle.
I'm with this way. It's one or the other. I don't wanna do both.
I know, I agree.
If we had a range rider in a couple years of history doing this, and they still had 4 or 5% missing animals. And actually, yeah, there's a need there for more assistance. But, because they have not used a range rider before. And they do have a problem. We don't know that a range rider would solve it, but I would assume that, compared to the boys back home, they have range riders, it really, really helps.
Yeah.
So, yeah, either I'm for one or the other, but would not say in the future that we couldn't do both, but it has to be a need.
Go ahead.
Hey, guy, everybody here, we have worked with drones. And, it depends on what part of the country you're in.
Yeah,
The wind will shut you down.
yeah.
So, you know, the way the winds are around everywhere now. Yeah, so. Kind of, I mean, looking at this situation. That is a big issue with the wind, shutting drones down.
The only way you can counter that is if you want one of the big ones, but then you have to have a pilot license to fly the big ones.
Yeah, so when they're around
The little ones you
30,000.
don't. Yeah,
The batteries don't last long. We got maybe 15 or 25 minutes on them. You know, you come back to base, change batteries. So, that's just some experience with the drones.
I mean, it's too bad we can't
Mr. Chair,
have several years or a year of information.
Mr. Chair,
Yeah, go ahead.
Julie is just come on.
Okay.
Julie, if you'll give me a second, I gotta move this screen over. Yeah. Okay.
Hi.
Hi, Julie. I can't get this moved, Mike.
What's that?
I can't get Julie to over on the TV.
You have to stop sharing.
It did stop.
All right. Where's your?
Let me just,
It won't minimize.
Where's your? Here.
I stopped sharing, so it went away.
Yeah. Still sharing.
But that's just because that's the screen it's on. Sorry, everybody.
No,
Okay,
well, you don't see anyone jumping up to help you.
It's a full screen. All right, I pull it. Just grab it. Pull it. Pull it there.
Oh, yeah, you're doing something different.
No, throw it up. Okay, Julie, we can now see you if you want to come back on and Mr. Chair. Appreciate it. Okay,
there you go.
okay.
Hi.
go ahead.
Please identify yourself, Julie, and then the
Oh.
floor is yours.
Oh, okay. I'm Julie Fambro and I'm with Milligan Canyon Ranch. And we had just put in a grant proposal. And so just wanted to be available in case you guys had any questions.
Julie, are you aware that we're on your grant now talking about it?
No, I was not. Okay. I had good timing then.
I guess then, Mr. Chair, I would just say does the board have a question for Julie?
I do. Have you used these in the past? These drones?
We have not. This is a new technology and but I think it has good potential for what we're wanting. We've looked at some other, collars and everything. It's just, you start getting into the towers and the price. And of course the price is still high on this, but we feel like, if we can get over this first year and if they work, well, then, it should be a good long-term help in navigating where our cattle are going.
And you've used range riders in the past?
We've used a range rider, yes, for pretty much the past 2 summers and have continued to have quite a bit of loss. We had 3 documented losses last year, and that was just us personally. But we feel like there's a lot more because every year we come up short of cows and calves and, kind of no idea really where they've gone or what has happened.
Anybody else have any questions for her?
I don't necessarily have a question, but I think my main concern is, again, just setting a precedent, but can't probably afford to stick a tag in every producer's animal. And, it's pricey I think it's probably a great service and helpful. Same with those kind of collars, the virtual fence collars. I'd be just at too high of a price point right now to be practical. That's just a concern.
So how many cattle came up missing last year?
Gosh, I wish my husband was here because he knows those exact numbers. But I think we were still a couple of, I think 2 or 3 outside of the ones that we identified as dead. I think we were probably another 2 or 3 babies short and at least one mama short. And then the previous year, I mean, we were like 4 or 5 heads short.
Mhm.
And, you know, contacted the Forest Service, contacted all the neighbors, contacted road for weeks and weeks and weeks up there, and never could identify where they'd gone or what had happened. So one of the you know, compromises that we had thought about was potentially just putting the ear tags on the baby calves, since they're tend to be, you know, most prone to the predation, and you know, with the hopes that where the baby goes, the mama's gonna go, trying to find her. We have lost adult cattle, but you know, no, I don't know.
Did you check around like with different services? Like,
Yes,
kind of,
I mean, we have in the past, and we have looked at Vince and, you know, some of those others, and you know, I don't know, this, I mean, the price point per, although the drone service is expensive, I feel like the price point per ear tag is a lot more affordable on this. And then, you know, she's saying, the owner of the company is saying that, you know, even after the 3 years, they'll just keep, you don't have to purchase a new ear tag. In other words, they'll just re-up the battery in them. So it's kind of a, you know, an investment upfront to get into it. And then, you know, the main cost is going to be the drone service, you know, for that time period.
Gordon, could you live with just tags in the gaps?
Yeah, I actually think that's I'm glad she brought that up. Probably half the number of tags. That's good math, huh? Probably half. Are the drone service and the ear tags, are they in tandem? That's not one without the other?
So yes, I mean, so the ear tags can also be read off of, so you can get they have these stations that you can put at the waters, and those are, let's see here, I think they're like $1,300 a piece. And then they'll read, you know, and catch as the cattle come into water. The issue that we have is several of the pastures have, you know, 3 or 4 waters. And so then if they're not coming in, you still don't know where they are without the drone service. But they also, there's an app that the range rider, you know, would have, and he'll be able to see the data that's pulled up by the drones, see where they've been hanging out, where they were last seen, all of that kind of stuff.
so what are, like, when you remove the tags in the fall, are they easy to remove without wrecking them?
Yes, they are literally, I mean, they're put on with a regular Witex, you know, ear tagger. So they have a regular Witex ear tag back. And so
just put the button off.
Yep, you just cut the button off. And you know, we would probably leave them, well, obviously not on your steers that you're selling. If we're keeping, we typically keep our heifers for replacements, and have a heifer development program. So we might be keeping them on those. I don't know, you know, or we could take it off all and just put it on straight the next year's calf crop.
Right.
We're, we're just looking for, I think the range rider is helpful, definitely having some presence out there. I mean, they saw bears repeatedly. So they're definitely in the area. There's definitely predation going on, just looking for some way to kind of increase the effectiveness of that just because of the vastness of the country.
Do all of our range rider programs require trail cams? No, okay.
And these drones will work detecting these animals, whether they're down in a canyon or no matter where they're at.
Yes. Yeah. So the drones are pretty impressive. I mean, they're huge. They're like, I don't know, they're almost as big as my kitchen table. So, and they have a long distance, like 400 yards or something that they can pick up in, and so they can go really low, they can go, high, they're pretty impressive.
How does the wind affect them? One of the comment was brought up here about wind. Drones.
I had asked her about that. I think that, obviously there are some days where it might be a problem because we all know how Montana winds are, but they're big enough that they're not, I mean, just a small wind isn't going to impact them. It's not like the drone you go and buy at, Costco or whatever that it's going to get.
Okay. Anybody else have any questions? Anybody?
Ms. Fambro, this is Joe Kipp. Do you have any records of your range rider for the last couple of years?
Records of, what do you mean? Like of
work records, like these are the days he looked, this is what he saw, maybe tracks, scat, animals, dead livestock, anything like that to report, like we're doing a lot. Well, I guess let me rephrase it to you. If you could say, we've been doing something for the last couple of years and it's been somewhat effective and these are the numbers to prove it. And now we want to take another step. It's easier to make that little step than it is to make a big step.
Sure. So,
well,
I know that. So the year before last, Max Robinson, out on the lease, and he rode pretty much every day. Last year we hired somebody, he rode 4 days a week. And then, we kind of broke up and sent a ranch hand to cover the other days. So I would say there was somebody there riding 5 to 6 days a week. And, how often would they see a bear? I don't have data on that. I know that there was probably at least, 5 or 6 sightings during the year. So, but as far as keeping, I don't know, he goes out, he takes salt water. He didn't keep a log.
That's one thing that the board, even in the past, has really stressed, Ms. Fambro, is that our range riders that we fund, we would really like to see a log, a daily log of what they've done, and to show that, hey, this money was well spent.
Sure.
It justifies that.
Yes, I understand.
Of everything that they've seen, anything, what rode out on July 1st saw nothing. Cattle are good. That's fine.
Okay.
But record everything or just the day that they did maybe see tracks or scat or saw the animals agitated or
Okay.
alerted the landowner or the property owner that, or the livestock owner that seeing a lot of evidence in this canyon, maybe you ought to move the cattle up the hill with salt or something. So, you know,
Mhm.
where
Okay.
it shows that the range rider is being effective. And I think I'm getting, I want to back up a little bit. I was under the impression that I was probably for this, for either is the correct word, the ear tags and drone service or the range rider, but now you said that the range rider will work in conjunction with the drone, correct?
Yes. Mm-hmm.
I'm glad you're on board to explain that, so I thank you for that. But that is one thing I guess. I'm leaning on my approval of this, but we need to have records for next year, okay? Even if it's not successful.
Mm-hmm.
If it is successful, then we will continue. But records, that's what we need.
Okay.
Thank you.
We can definitely, have our guy this year be much more diligent in documenting everything. That was kind of what our, frustrations was sometimes the communication with the range rider. One of the things that I like about this as well is us, even if we're not out there, we can log into the portal and, look at, hey, what's going on? We haven't seen this one, moving, or this is wandered off. And so I feel like it's going to help, not just for him who's out there boots on the ground, but also us to be, just more eyes being vigilant and monitoring what's going on.
Well, we've got a motion on the floor
Okay.
for ear tags and roam. Jordan, do you want to amend that motion just for 266 tags for the calves?
Would we have to vote down your motion first, or I can just change, I can amend that?
Draw the motion and we could make a new one.
Do
That might be easier.
Is that okay to do that, Miss Legal Representation?
Yes, I think that's. Mr. Chair, I withdraw my motion.
Okay.
And are we still doing the range rider and the drone service separate topics? In terms of our motion?
To the range rider.
We can do it either way.
266.
But you did mention 266 tags versus whatever 266 times
550.
two is, yeah.
I think you could do it all at once, probably, if everybody's in agreement. If we'll do the range rider plus with just the tag for the calves. I don't think it needs to be separate, does it?
No, I just did it for discussion
Okay.
because it was new.
Yeah.
Strange and
Okay.
scary.
Mr. Chair, yeah.
Can I ask a question?
Yep.
Julie,
Right.
does the drone service, are you operating the drone, or is SkyDog operating the drone?
SkyDog operates the drone.
So you're not buying a drone?
No.
I think for service, making sure everybody,
Yeah.
the service doesn't seem awfully expensive, quite frankly.
A drone that big, I think you need a license.
Ear tags.
Okay, any more questions? So I guess we can entertain a motion regarding,
Jordan Mannix makes a motion to approve the Milligan Canyon Ranch for the, I guess, 250 head of cows instead of the 550 head.
266.
Yeah.
yeah,
Oh, okay, I'm sorry. I just split your cows in half, I'm sorry.
on the range rider too or not, or just?
Yeah, I just don't know what that math would come out to now. $27 a head times 266 instead of 550.
$7,182.
So moved.
Okay,
I'll second it. Raina seconds by the end of the meeting.
and moved and seconded to approve, now this is just for the tags, right?
No, this is.
The range rider
Range
too?
rider and the tag.
Okay,
Range Rider, Sky Dog, and
we didn't mention that. in-
No, we didn't,
tags on the calves.
we didn't mention Skydog.
No, that's provided,
Okay.
yeah,
It's
Oh,
included.
with the tags?
Yep,
Okay.
well, not provided, but it's,
but it's X.
Part of the deal,
Yeah.
okay.
Okay,
so the total would be if, and Leslie, you can,
Yeah, I'm looking at the invoice and I think it's not exactly 27 per tag. It looks like it's $6.99 for a pack of 25.
Leslie can figure it out.
I can do the.
yeah, we don't need.
okay,
It's approximately, well, on
Alright.
the exact numbers, so.
Okay, so. it's
Yeah,
been
so I
moved
guess it would have to be
to approve
275.
the Milligan
The
Canyon
Skydog
Ranch
is different.
request for 266 tags and the range rider, right?
and the drone service.
And the drone server.
Yep.
Okay, all those in favor, signify by saying aye.
Right,
All those in favor, same sign, motion carried. Okay,
Awesome. Thank you guys so much. I truly appreciate it. I'm hopeful this is going to make a huge difference for us.
and if it really works out good, Julie, please give us those, log books for next year.
Yes.
And if it really works good, I would be open to getting tags for the cows, because
Yeah.
you did have some depredations on, or missing
Right.
cows too. So,
Mhm.
That's cool that they got somebody that'll operate the drone. They don't have to buy it.
Yeah.
That's-
Yeah. Exactly. Yeah, because we thought, well, I wonder how much the drone was, and she said it was like $40,000. I don't know, so it's pricey.
You have to be a pilot to operate something that big.
Oh,
well, you gotta have a pilot's license.
Yep.
so
Okay,
all
thank
right.
you
Well,
for being on and answering some
sure.
questions.
Thank you so much. I appreciate it. Bye-bye.
Okay, next. Ruby
All
Valley.
right. Yep, next one starts on page 33. This is Ruby Valley, who has been a regular applicant with their composting service. This is an equipment purchase for a dump trailer.
What kind of trailer?
A dump trailer. It's what
Okay.
they use to pick up carcasses for the program. They've had one for several years and it's
and if
be replaced.
it seems like then they use their own vehicle to pull it, correct?
That's
It's
correct.
not one we provided. I don't know where they.
Yeah, I thought it was producer, provided.
This
So
has always been pretty successful.
compost, we fund the heck out of these guys, we need that back home.
I was thinking about that. Off the record, I'll share something.
Yeah, visit with Craig, he's the one in charge, I tried to push very hard with the, Fish and Game Department.
Would Young's trailer be big enough for a dump trailer? I'll bid on one at my brother's auction if you want me to.
I'm
Darcy,
here
are you
representing the Ruby Valley
Thank you.
Conservation District.
Can you give me an overview of what we have funded in the past? Cause I didn't go back and look at the last grant before coming to the
Is it
meeting.
just for a dump trailer?
Yeah, that is a great question. I am a pitch hitter today for Steve Prim. So I know the Conservation District is pretty consistently getting receives money from the Livestock Loss Board. I haven't seen those past proposals, so I'm not quite sure what specifically they've been helping with, but the livestock or the carcass composting program has been something that we've been working on for years, and it's just been improving over the years. So I think LLB has definitely supported the work from the very beginning, basically from the ground up to where it is today. And then beyond the carcass compost program, I honestly, I couldn't say.
Do you sell any of the compost?
We
you
are, yeah, we're actually moving into that direction. So we just got a bunch of testing done on the compost and it came back with flying colors. So that's going to be the next element of this project is selling the compost or even just giving it away. But I think if we can make it a income generator, that would be great.
And what kind of signage are you needing to post at your compost site?
Well, we have, it's interesting because the compost site itself is really managed by 1 to 2 people. So Billy Flynn is the one getting the carcasses and doing the upgrades and burying the dead. And then Jeremy is helping out with some of that dirt work as well. But it's not necessarily a place, it's managed by the conservation district, so people don't actually dump there. And so the signage, I think, would have to start coming in when we start selling it and giving it away. But I don't know. And it would be directing people to where to go for that.
Mr. Chair, if you don't mind. Dorsey, I'm assuming, looking at the funding that you're getting from the feds, I'm gonna assume, sorry. My wife gets through my do not disturb. Uh, uh, that the reason you're asking for a dump trailer is because it looks, you verify this for me. Operationally, you're now being funded a different way than you had been before with Livestock Loss Board. So it looks like Livestock Loss Board is being asked to do something the feds won't allow. Is the assumption I'm trying to verify.
Could you ask that one more time?
Under the multi-year operating American the Beautiful Challenge grant, will they not allow you to buy a dump trailer?
That is correct.
Thank you.
That is the one grant I manage. And so I can tell you for sure they won't let us buy equipment.
It just, Mr. Chair, that seems like the conversation that we've been having in the air, at least as far as trying to supplement or work together with the federal grants to do things that they won't do.
Yeah, and just as a little background on this trailer, Billy has been operating with a trailer that really is, it's it's still functional, but it will be reaching the end of its life soon. And the compost program has increased, which I think Steve wrote about in the proposal there, and he just needs a bigger trailer that he can maneuver a little bit easier. So we're looking at a gooseneck trailer that he can, with walls on it, so that he can really pile the carcasses up in there and bring them to the site. So that's the reason we're asking for this, is to be able to upgrade that trailer and make Billy's work more efficient and easier for him than it is now.
Darcy, this is Joe Kip. The dozer, D9 dozer, D6 dozer, do you guys own that, lease it, rent it? What's the deal with that?
Yeah, I saw that in there and that kind of got my attention. The conservation district actually purchased a skid steer. So that's the piece of equipment that's owned and used by the conservation district. I need to ask Steve about the dozer because I'm actually not familiar with that. And I know that most of the work, I think all the work for burying and doing all that kind of work, moving the dirt around a little bit, is done with the skid steer.
It looks to me in this application, they want, they've used a dozer to grade and make a better approach to get into dump stuff.
Okay, so yeah, site improvement. So that would be a rental. Yep.
So I guess I've always wondered with these dead cows, I mean, do they die in an inaccessible place? These people, they drag them out someplace where you can get to them to haul them, or how does that work?
Yeah, I think for the most part, these are all pretty accessible because they're all on people's private property in the valley. And I think they do their best to drag them to where Billy can come pick them up pretty easily with the trailer. So they help him out in that way.
Okay. Anybody else? This is one of the few programs I think that's been documented that really work, really. Get results.
Yeah, I'll just sing Steve Prim's praises. He's really done a great job with this program. He's shepherded this through and it's successful because of him and the partners who are part of this for sure.
Okay, anything else? Just need a motion to approve. Thanks, Fran. Dig under the table.
I move we approve in full. Raina moves that we approve in full the Ruby Valley Conservation District application.
Joe Kip seconds.
Okay. Been moved and seconded to approve the Ruby Valley grant in the amount of 9,000. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion carried.
Thank you so much.
Yeah.
All right, we are on to page 39. And I believe Ty is on Zoom. Yes. So Tyrell is in Fishtail, Stillwater County. And this, I believe, is for fencing, if I remember right. Yeah, so some night pen fencing for a sheep operation. And some game cameras.
Yes. Would you like to give us an overview kind of what how it works? I guess we have it in front of us, but it's always nice to hear it in person.
Yeah, I can, so I think in the presentation or the application, I guess I presented I moved back, I guess, and trying to help out more on, the family farm. And so we've, over the last 3 years, have tried to push and grow our flock and have started into some Suffolk sheep, that have higher EPVs and trying to bring that carcass index and quality back to the consumer. So with these more expensive rams and ewes that we've gotten a hold of, our attention to the losses is definitely increased. And we've been limited over the years and just trying to stick to the home place the way our land is laid out and the neighbors that we lease. So with that, this last year, we spread out, and then that's when we ended up losing those 13 head. And the lion activity and like everywhere, the predators seem to be increasing. So I've thought a lot about it. I think I see on the list there too, Rob Yates is just the neighbor up the road. He's going to try the dogs. He's in a little bit different situation away from the city or the town, I guess, a little bit more than we are. So I think our best option is to try to do the night pinning, and was just looking for some help in purchasing some metal panels to make that happen. So
So you're going to night pen out in the boonies with metal panels?
yeah, so we do try to work with some of the neighbors to go out and target leafy spurge. You know, and we've done that over the years on fishing accesses and whatnot. So we move the sheep around, and I would say that you know, you try to work smart with the sheep and give them a grain bucket to bring them in. And so if we have pin areas set up or corrals that are portable, you know, they're pretty trainable to bring them in fairly easy at night. It's just the, you know, time consuming, but if that's what's taking care of animals, right? You have to be dedicated to them. So going out there and bringing them in, I don't know, you know, and we'll target certain times of the year, you know, when those predators are moving through, to make sure that we're doing that, and depending on where they're located at the time. But
I can tell you from personal experience, locking sheep inside those deer fencing, you know, that are 12 feet tall, won't stop a lion. It's just fish in a barrel. Did that twice.
did you? Yeah, I guess that's the other thing, and the reason I've stayed on so long and listened to this whole thing is just to try to learn and see what other people are doing, because I don't know what other options we have. You know, we can't use the guardian dogs. We've talked about mules or llamas or something like that, but even that, I guess I don't know that the success rate is good, but just definitely open to hear and learn. So
Ty, on your application, you have electrical deterrent. Can you explain what that is?
yeah, from some of the research I guess I did on looking into options was, yeah, the panels can be a physical deterrent, you know, just by height, but if you can add the electrical deterrent as far as, you know, a hot wire about 4 feet up or 3 feet up, something like that, where the cats might come in contact to it if they are, you know, going to crawl under it or try to jump over the top of it. But like I say, it was something to go out there and lose 10% of your flock or 13 of them in one night. I don't want to go through that. And when we're having those $1,200 ewes, you know, personally, we're going to try to do something that we can, and just looking for some help here so that we don't submit future claims, I guess. And the game cams, you know, that was mentioned earlier. I didn't realize that they could alert like that, but if that is an option, you know, just trying to look out for that technology to help all of us figure out the best tool in the toolbox. So
where you have the labor listed and how many hours of takedown and setup, are you hiring this done? Are you doing it yourself, or what is that? What are those?
yeah, we would be doing that ourselves, and I think, you know, Leslie had reached out to me to talk through that a little bit too. So, you know, as that would just be our time that we would be doing that. I'm not going to hire necessarily anybody to do that. So
He met his 30% with their cash contribution, and you'd have the labor on there, so that's why there's corrections on there.
Okay.
Mr. Schaaf, this is Joe Kip, and I had a
Yep.
question about your valuation of your animals. So on your livestock information, you wrote down 120 ewes, 32 yearlings, and 6 rams. And when I add that together and multiply, this will probably make you upset, but $410 is what I was told earlier today is what a sheep cost. That comes to $64,000. So that would mean, and you can have 10% of the valuation of your animals in grant. So the way I've got to figure it out, you got $6,000, $478 that you could, 6478 is what you're eligible for. But, so I guess let's decide on the valuation of your animals. Do you have lambs with those sheep?
So that I'll just go back to the incident that we had, where we
Mhm.
lost 13. Those were ewes that were just bred. Yeah, so the lambs aren't running with them. Typically when, we'll have all the lambs in a dry lot, and so they're not exposed until they become yearlings and we kick them out. The 120, I guess, I was delinquent a little bit or late in submitting the claim on that, but the registered suffix that we do have, I guess I paid anywhere from 500 to 1,200 for them. So to me, the Suffolk breed, our flock is higher than average, I would, in the value of them, in my personal opinion, and I guess what we're selling our rams for. But I do understand, where you're coming from on that. I think my approach on this was to put together a complete package of, hey, this panel idea, how are we going to move them around? I'm not trying to be more aggressive than I need to be. But it seemed like that was kind of the complete package of what it would take to make it feasible. And for me to get my head around what we're up against.
So the Rams, at the Ram sale, the sale average was 1566.
On several grams. The black-faced ram.
Well, that's the overall average for the whole sale.
So what would you value them at? With
According to
your,
the policy and procedures that George wrote, I value them to the average for the sale. Which is 1566.
I thought registered stuff was double.
Oh, sorry, so there's no registration paperwork submitted. Yes, if there's registration papers, it's double.
Double meat cost.
Double the sale average cost that we use.
But because
Is it the
rams,
livestock market?
This is the Miles City Ram and Houston.
Okay, it's a special sale and, I think we should use, if they're selling them in the livestock market, shouldn't we?
No, registered stuff is treated differently.
Are these registered?
There's no, are these registered sheep?
Percentage of them are, yeah, not all of them are, but a percentage are.
Okay.
I would say I got 50 of them are registered. 50 of the ewes would be registered.
You mentioned that dogs weren't an option. Could you explain why?
Yeah, I guess we're surrounded by a road. The home place is 150 acres. So we're not talking a lot of area. We've got a fishing access with campers and all kinds of activity going on. And then we're the road wise. I don't know if you have the overview map there, but you go up East Rosebud Road and Nye Road. And so there's just a lot of traffic activity. And I think the dogs I've been around, they wander a lot. We've talked about putting collars on them, trying to keep them in. I guess that was my thoughts behind some of the use of the dog. But if that would be a better option, from your guys' opinion, I guess I'd put more
I just
consideration
tell
into
from
it.
my own personal experience with lions and sheep and losing a dozen in one night. A deer fence won't keep them out,
No.
Yeah.
and that's 12 foot tall. They went over it.
And we had a
Yeah.
neighbor that had a bunch of bum lambs locked in a stockade every night, and they were losing lambs and they couldn't figure out why, and somebody sat down there and watching, and a lion was jumping over a 12-foot fence, grabbing a lamb and then going back out again.
Yeah, I guess the other
Yeah.
thing for us is we, with the rams, the yearling rams and the ewes, obviously you can't mix everything together. So we would have, like I tried to sort out there, the three different groups. And so then I don't know if, are we looking at three different dogs? And how that would work. So,
Well, that collar was working really well for, Augusta. I can picture, Connor, not Connor, close. Her name, Teresa.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Okay.
That collar was keeping that dog where he was supposed to be.
She was on a quite a bigger property too. I think it just depends on the dog, I don't know.
Yeah, it's hard in this small of an area. It's gonna be tough. I mean, dogs are gonna wander by their nature. These guard dogs are gonna wander. And I don't know. Then in our situation, dogs do more good than anything else.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, you're still gonna have some loss no matter what, but the dogs will make it less. I mean, you're not gonna save every animal or anything.
I personally could fund dogs and the collar like Teresa Converse had.
Yeah.
But this is just fish in a barrel. Sorry. Been there,
No.
done that twice.
yeah, well, that's the lessons learned I'd like to, pick up on and learn from. So,
Any more comments? Anyone?
And I've got a comment, but not for you, Mr. Shaw, basically just to Leslie, that we would probably need to visit more about valuations.
Yeah.
It's on the list,
Okay,
trust me.
and I'm sure everything is probably gone up, but
And like in this case, it should have been broken out. Registered versus commercial probably too.
maybe.
I mean, if the registered animals are gonna be treated differently than commercial, I think,
They are for claims,
yeah.
but
Yeah, this is different though, I guess.
yeah.
Yeah,
We set a limit on some of it too.
We did.
yeah.
That's kind of a headache, the valuation. But oh well.
Wasn't Teresa part of the collar was to keep that dog off the road?
Oh, absolutely. Yeah.
So Mr. Shaw, what killed all the sheep that are in the bucket of the tractor? You still there?
yes, sorry about that. I was on another mute. Yeah, those were all lion kills and validated by the Fish and Game.
Okay. Yeah, it's like they're all bit in the neck.
Do you have bear trouble as well, or just mostly lion?
It depends on how many bear that Rob Yates kills before they get to our place, but
You're on.
we're just down the creek a little bit more from him. So yeah, but in the past we, historically we have had bear issues. And yeah, the fish tail, this corridor has become a thoroughfare of bears, even with the grizzlies coming in now too. So that's, yeah, I don't know. We're just looking for options, I guess. So
Did you get the lion?
no, he was captured
Oh.
on camera on the game cam, and he was about 2 inches from the trap. Yeah, of course, right? And then we just didn't get the snow to get the dogs in to chase them in the right
Yeah.
time. So
Okay, any other questions? We probably need to vote on this. No more. Okay. Have a motion to do with whatever with this. No motion or second? So, okay, guess this one will not be awarded, I guess.
I could
I
certainly.
think we need to have a motion and a second and then to approve or not approve it.
And she just moved
Don't we?
to not approve it.
Pardon?
She can move to approve it or move to not approve it, depending.
Yeah, I mean, if we move, I mean, just move and then yay or nay.
Yeah, you look at me.
Well, somebody.
I'll make a motion. But I'm gonna throw you into the bus, girl.
Oh, yeah. Okay, go ahead.
I make a motion that we table this request at this time under advice from a sheep producer that was present at the table.
I'll second that. Tabling means he can come back
Yep,
Yeah,
another plan.
another plan and
But tabling means you're tabling this application. If you table it and he says you would have to bring this application off the table. It's just simpler to say yes or no.
I think we need to approve or not approve.
Okay, well, I make a motion that we not approve this as is because of the advice from a sheep producer at the table.
For second,
I'll second.
okay. Been moved and seconded not to approve this grant.
Sorry, I just had to stab you in the back.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Okay,
I mean, I would
motion not approved, I guess.
personally, if you,
Motion carries.
Or motion carried.
to
Yeah,
not
yeah,
pay.
yeah, yeah.
personally, if you can come back with a proposal with dogs and collars that will keep the dog off the road, that I could live with. But I've already been down this road and it was ugly, just like yours, just as bad. I mean,
Okay.
I know what it's like to line them
On
up
to the
like
next one.
cordwood to drag them off.
Yes, sir. Yeah, that's all about. Move on to the next grant. You might need a break. Yeah. I'll take a break after we're done.
Yeah, there you go.
Okay.
I like that idea.
To page 48, this is Valley Creek Stock Association. So they're over in Lake County. Range riding, this is a group of producers.
Yeah,
And they have some funding with wildlife, from Wildlife Services, I believe. To cover some of the costs for their range riding. Yeah, 58% is covered by Wildlife Services,
Is that their cash match too?
correct? Their cash matches from Wildlife Services funding.
And Wildlife Service is going to be controlling or hiring the range rider.
That was my understanding. Do you remember that, Brian? We
I
were
don't.
talking about it. Wildlife Services has agreed to hire and employ this range rider for the
Okay,
period of June
yeah.
1st through October. Yes, and provide them with equipment, et cetera.
Okay, and do they have depredations? Yep.
Yep.
Losses. And they got 748 commercial cows. Good for numbers. All right,
This is several different producers.
Yes, it's a group of I think,
8.
7 or 8 producers.
says 8.
Thanks. Yep.
This is the first time that they've put in two.
As far as I know. I mean, some of the individual producers could potentially have, but certainly the group hasn't, hasn't applied in the past.
Well, I'll move that we fund the Ruby Valley or the Valley Creek Stock Association Range Rider application.
I seconded during Gillespie.
Move seconded to approve the Valley Creek Stock Association application. In the amount of 15,000, right?
Mhm.
Yeah. All those in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign, motion carried. Okay. Next one.
Where's fishtail?
Carbon, or not carbon, still are south.
And where Red Lodge kind of, isn't it, sort of?
Oh, okay.
It showed Absorpia on the map next to it too.
There is a lot of bears, I mean, there's a lot of bears down.
Wow, they've got a lot of depredations.
They got everything covered.
None of them are coyote though.
Yeah.
They're up close to the Beartooth Mountain, so.
Yeah, but I had a ewe lamb get bred and we just took the lamb off the ewe and I dumped her out with the bucks and replacements, and we don't have a terribly aggressive dog. The ewe, that particular ewe in question came home that night with all the wool off her legs, wool up all four legs and puncture marks in her throat. And my guard dog just leaned up against the chain link fence and closed her eyes. She'd obviously had a very long day, but she took care, well, I wouldn't say she took care of the coyote, but she saved. So in this case, a dog would help with coyotes too.
And what is Robert asking for?
Sorry, I didn't, do his intro. So he's looking to purchase guard dogs as well as, you know, food and, basic vet care.
Do we normally cover basic vet care? Okay, just double checking.
Yeah.
Okay, and she's using the same kind of collar as Teresa?
A halo? I don't remember if she had a halo or not.
I don't remember either, I just remember the,
I think
Is
that
it
550
Congress?
is about the same appraisal of the color though.
she lives at Augusta and was having problem with, I don't remember what kind of critter. probably
I think it was
grizzly.
mostly grizzly.
And this pup, they put a collar on him to keep him off the road because they bordered the road. But I don't remember if it was a halo collar or not.
Oh,
The
okay.
price is about right.
Yeah,
I have her application here.
Teresa,
Yeah, from last time.
All I remember is she purchased one collar Black Friday and the other one a little later.
That's why the prices were different.
Yeah.
Price is different.
The grant amount is, very acceptable to me.
me too.
And, ready to move forward.
I'm just letting Jordan look up.
Oh, I will look all day if I.
I think this looks
It
good
was
too.
$550, I'm sure.
Okay, Doreen, you haven't made
Yeah.
a motion all day.
I make a motion that we approve the Robert Yates, grant here.
For a second?
Jordan Manick seconds it.
Moved and seconded to approve the Robert Yates grant application in the amount of $2,408. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
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 Same sign, motion carried. Okay, I'll take a break here or
Oh, we got one more.
do the last one, okay.
Yeah, let's get her done.
Let's get it done, yeah.
All right, so this last one was late. So that's why he's at the end, out of alphabetical order. But he is looking for, he's acquiring some sheep this summer. He's not been a sheep producer in the past, is my understanding. And they have he's in Shoto, so they have a pretty significant predator load, especially the grizzlies. And so he's looking for electric netting and just rotational grazing within netting. Did we reach out to? There was a
No, we
question
did
about that.
What I asked was, can the grizzly jump over this fence? And grizzlies aren't great jumpers, but they can jump. And Leslie said he is a wildlife services employee. The applicant.
Yes.
So he probably knows what he's talking about.
I
So
agree.
that's all the further that particular conversation went.
And, I wanna add a little something to it. He has not had sheep. His girlfriend has had sheep for a long time. And now we're seeing that Luke is pit to dust.
Yep.
Sheep are coming to the people's ranch. And, Luke needs to take care of them, or we will lose the one hell of a wildlife service agent. He's our bear expert up there. Our roving bear expert. And I've had him in the field, he is
Good guy.
great. So. It's the first time he's had a girlfriend in like 30 years, so let's just give him the grant.
Still live streaming and recording. So
How dare you say that about my friend?
has he? It says here, he has not taken possession of the sheep yet. Has he gotten them since? Okay, I'm not worried about the per capita, but just.
They're down at the other place. They're owned by half of the,
I think this grant looks good.
I still think I think it looks good too, but I still think we need to keep in mind that a deadline, we need to stress the deadline thing, I think.
The only thing I would say to that is we are trying
Oh, I
to
know,
be
I know.
people friendly. And I don't know if this just is something you put on the application and you don't have to go through the rules process. But I would like to see late approved applications funded after everyone else. That makes sense to everybody?
That sounds good to me.
After the.
We can
on
set the
time.
deadline to be absolute, because we don't have that yet, do we? We're still kind of wishy-washy.
We've never enforced.
We don't
it.
have a,
Yeah.
we don't have anything official for
I didn't think
grants,
so.
other than whatever we decide in a meeting and potentially put on the application. I could put some verbiage on there that says late applications may be considered if they're in time to get them processed before the board reviews them. You know, the priority will be given to applications that were turned in online, something, or on time, something to that effect, if you want. I mean, the problem with having late applications come in is you have the people who will try and the people who won't, because they fall, you know, and that's where it, you know.
Right, yeah.
So,
And we're gonna have somebody sooner or later say, well, you approve that person, they were late, so
Yeah.
why are you denying me? But I guess we'll worry about that when it happens. I mean, I think this is a pretty,
And we'll say, well.
yes.
I'll add one more thing to it. And I think I can say this correctly. This young man works for Wildlife Service from, I think, May 1st to the end of October. In the middle of the winter, the other time of the year, he operates the family farm. And the elder in the family did have some very serious health issues very recently. And he was not able to, he communicated to me earlier, he wanted to do this. And because of the added stress load of running the cows without dad's help, while dad was recuperating, he wasn't able to get it done. Knowing that, I make a motion that we pass it.
I second it.
Okay. And move seconded to grant this.
We do have one discussion point.
Okay,
I would
any
highly,
discussion?
well, before you just jumped in voting, I would highly recommend that he get the poultry netting rather than the sheep.
I hate the poultry netting.
Really?
It's awful.
Okay, well, I just have read that sheep have a more difficult time getting tangled up in the poultry netting than the sheep. And you
If
have
you run your
different.
fence hot enough, nothing will get tangled in it.
Yeah, if it's got enough youth, I'm not
Okay,
gonna
I
get it.
withdraw my.
Cause I have horned goats and, I mean, kids will get in it if they don't know where they're going, but that's, it's, you never get in it
I'm
once.
not worried what the
Yeah,
goats
then they
and the
just,
kids.
yeah, it's.
They fry.
This is what we need, city people here.
Okay, I will.
Well,
I
my kids
will-
have learned their lesson a long time ago.
I will take that back to my family that. Cause it did say in the catalog, can't energize as many feet with the poultry net.
Correct, because it's by the linear foot of the number of strands that are in a net, so if you have more strands, you know, there's more linear length. So,
Okay.
Okay.
I'm done talking.
Vote, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed, same sign? Okay, carried. Gonna take a break here, right?
Almost.
Steve, or we wanted to keep going?
I got one comment to make and I'll be done.
All right. We got it, well, we gotta set a date, we gotta talk about grant scoring criteria, and then this letter for this rainfighter training organization.
We can power through, we can get done
Okay,
before.
no, that's fine.
If you guys
Very
want.
good, let's go.
Let's do it.
I know everybody wants to give them a over.
Just before rush hour.
Good,
So, permission to have the floor, Chairman.
go for it.
So, back in the day, the tribes, the nations had to get a, cooperative agreement with the Livestock Loss Board. Which was not really that big of a thing. George is really good about coming up every 5 years and talking to the council. But it's kind of a hassle. I mean, I talked to Leslie about it earlier to see where we were at on that. And, to make sure that we had time just for her to schedule with the tribe and all that stuff. And anyway, it came to my attention that Senator Gillespie had gone to the state legislation and basically said that the tribes do not have to do that anymore. Which, is that true?
Boy, that's my memory, Phil. I don't know.
I'm complimenting you, but
Just so I make sure, I have no recollection. It's a compliment.
it's not just a compliment. Butch, I want to tell you right now that I really thank you for doing that. Right now, tribal members by state legislation do not have to have an MOU with the Livestock Loss Board. Any tribal member within the state, because of your bill, can be accepted even though we don't pay capita tax. Correct, Leslie?
Correct.
Thank you, Butch. I mean it. Thank you. We didn't ask you to do this. You stood up and you did something on behalf of us.
Thank
Yeah, fine.
Thank you.
Next time I'm gonna
Thank you,
teach you,
Joe.
or you're gonna get it. So,
Okay,
Next item, there's been some interest in creating a little bit more of a spread in our applications because my goal is to get lots of grant applicants, and so our job's gonna get a lot harder because we're gonna have to pick and choose which ones we get to award. We get more applicants. So based on things that you guys have said in these meetings and some of the notes that I found in older meetings, I just threw together just something based on a few of the comments that I've heard. So you have sorry, I'm in tab 4. As far as the grant scoring, you have your pass-fail criteria. You either paid your per capita or you didn't. You're either a producer or you aren't, you know, the basic stuff. They have to meet the 10% requirement. That's all the pass-fail stuff. And then when it comes to actually scoring and creating, you know, the ability to rank them higher versus lower, the statutes talk about depredation history and just the presence of predators. They talk about prioritizing grizzly and wolf over other predator species for, you know, mountain lion and black bear. So those things are in statute. So I think it's fairly clear that those would be in our grading criteria. Other comments that we've had, or, you know, things that I think have kind of come up, the effectiveness or cost effectiveness of the practices. You could separate that out, but in my mind, you have the 10%, which is really a pass fail in terms of cost effectiveness. So I don't know if you need cost effectiveness as well as just effectiveness of the program that they're trying to implement. Whether or not they've received a grant in the last 5 years or some period of time could potentially be something you would use for, you know, giving newer applicants priority over people that have gotten applications or grants in the past. And then whether or not the grant was provided by the producer or a third party, whether it was an NGO or government grant. If there's other ideas, I mean, I can put whatever you want. We can change the valuations to however seems most appropriate. Some of these are gonna be kind of tough to actually figure out, right? Because the definition history, what's high, what's low. In my mind, each group of grants is gonna be compared to that group of grants. Just like you grade livestock, if you're, judging livestock, right, you're looking at a pen, you're gonna just look at that set of applicants and rank them top to bottom within that group in each category. I think that's probably gonna be the best way to do it, but, that's what I have so far. If you guys have other thoughts, I'd like to come up with something before the next grant cycle opens so that people can see what they're being graded on in the interest of transparency.
Somebody think about.
The other thing we could do too, Leslie, is let's say we approve $300,000 of the grants, we have $200,000 available.
Mhm.
We could just do the math and say, we'll fund them all at 66%. And then after that, I mean, until we get to that point. Of really being grading them. I would say that's our backup plan.
Okay, my only concern with that, and I'm not trying to shoot it down, but there could be a scenario where people couldn't afford to do any of the project if they can't get a portion of it funded, or would create some challenges that way,
Yeah.
so we'd have to kind of just be cognizant of that, I guess, if we went that route, but.
And I think we talked about this earlier before Doreen. We kind of had a backup plan in case we
Sure.
were flooded with applicants
Sure.
that it would come down to, and we also did. Same with the claims. We decided one year when they were really boiling in, that if they flood us more than we have available. We won't pay at this point on.
Go
We'll
to
hold-
90% or something
Yeah, we'll
like that.
hold those until the end of the year and then do the math and pay them 80% of what.
Something better than nothing.
Yep,
Sure,
and it has to be equal and fair,
Yeah, very true.
so.
okay. Does anyone have anything they would like to add or change or remove or change the emphasis on the points, or do you understand how I mean, this is just a quick draft. It's not necessarily what it's gonna look like when it's finished. I just wanted to get something for you guys to think about.
This might not be worth putting in there, but I find myself putting some weight on those. On the grants that are covering multiple producers, the Ruby Valley Conservation District, or, like there's individual producers putting in for. A thermal scope but I tend to wait, like, oh, they have a range rider that's covering 8 different producers. Or,
So do you think that kind of falls into the effectiveness of,
I'm sure it does.
Okay.
It's probably
yeah? I
already
mean,
covered by that
Okay.
umbrella.
Yeah, because when you look at Ruby Valley, I mean, they have, the supplemental forms for a certain number of producers it puts them well within their limit for the 10%. But when you look at the number of animals they actually cover, it's like hundreds of thousands. I mean, it's a huge.
It's like 894 animals.
No, like the number of producers that they're covering, it's a massive number, so. Is there anything else with this that you guys wanna see changed or?
So down there says have not received a grant in the last 5 years. Are you going to? If they have,
So
or then lower?
it would be like, yeah, like the producers
The
that
newer
are
ones are gonna
first
get-
time would get, say, 5 points.
Okay.
And then if they've, and kind of grade them that way, yeah,
Okay.
that was the idea there.
Okay.
And I think maybe I would like to see credit given if they're doing some preventive practices already. Let's say they're using dogs or range riders or whatever, and they're still having a problem, they wanna do this other project. That's better than somebody walking forward doing nothing.
And that it kind of ties into when you look at depredation history, right? If they don't have a lot of depredation history, but it's because they've been
You're right.
doing something already, right?
Mhm.
So, okay. Perfect. I think we skipped anything on the agenda. Yeah.
Letter.
So, you guys have your calendars. I'm gonna make you look really far into the future here.
When is your next meeting? Let's coordinate this again. That was really nice.
We might be a little further into the future on that. So based on some of the feedback I've gotten, and just the way that, the working year runs, it would be nice to get money awarded in January, right? Early to mid-January. Does that sound like a good time frame as far as getting money out to people so that they can know what they're gonna be doing and have everything planned out ahead of having lambing?
Trina?
I think that would be really helpful for a lot of people, if they could get it taken care of before they start having.
Yes.
And then
we
one,
know.
they have the stuff in place, and two, they don't have to deal with it while they're.
Right. So if that's the case, having a deadline. I mean, we can kind of work backwards from there. If there's a time frame in January, of course, it's session.
Yeah, I would say move it up to December for your
Okay.
decision.
Yeah.
So you're
So-
not competing with legislative session for
Right.
people's attention and time and
Mhm.
your attention and time as well.
So if there's a date, does anyone have a thought about December? Of course, it's convention month and it's a short month for work days because of holidays. And yeah,
They have a meeting or a deadline?
so this would be the date that we meet to award grants. The deadlines, we're gonna work backwards from this once we figure out when we're gonna give grants out.
Right after convention?
Oh, wool growers is like that first weekend and stock growers is probably the next weekend, right? Normally?
Sometimes they fall over the top of each other too. It depends on the year.
Dog growers is the third through the fifth.
Okay.
There's which?
Sure, early this year. Okay.
Third through the. That's probably when wool growers is too, I would bet.
That's what I'm wondering.
Okay,
So if we shoot for,
the next week.
Yeah, the
yeah,
eighth or.
That seems like a
December.
free time.
so yeah, sometime the week of the 7th through the 11th of December. Is that what you guys wanna shoot for? Do we wanna go with the 9th? It's a Wednesday.
Yeah, sure.
Everybody okay with that? I know nobody has anything on their calendar as far out, so.
Have a calendar.
Whatever you guys say, it's gonna finish here.
Yeah,
Yeah. December,
December 9th.
December
Sounds good.
9th, Wednesday, December 9th is when we're gonna do the next grant award cycle. So, 30 days seems like plenty of time, for me to get everybody kind of squared away. It's gotten relatively streamlined for me. So that would put our deadline for grants the 4th. I believe, no. Or, let's go November 4th, that's 5 weeks. Everybody good with that?
Yep.
Okay,
Does Thanksgiving fall right at the end of?
So it's
it's
26th.
gonna be the 26th, won't it?
Yeah.
The 4th Thursday.
Oh, yeah, never mind. We're fine.
Yeah.
I'm on the wrong month.
Okay. Fantastic. That's what I wanted. I wanted dates. Do we need to meet before then? Or,
At some point, some way, we're gonna have to decide what we're doing with the leftover claims money. And so Wildlife Services can know their amounts in, July. And that's traditionally how we're doing it. We're meeting in July to talk about what's left over. It'd be quick. We could probably do it via Zoom or team meeting and not actually meet here. But that decision does need to get done yearly. Anyway.
What's the deadline? In July?
Like,
There's no deadline. It's just that we won't know what the end figure is until after June 30th. So to give you a number to vote on,
so July or August,
Yeah.
probably.
yeah, let's go with August 1st, huh?
I can't do August 1st.
It's that Saturday, why not?
Because my oldest daughter's wedding reception is
Okay.
August 1.
How about the last week of July?
That's wonderful.
we won't be getting ready for the reception then.
I'm,
If it was our house, we would be.
Scott's doing all the cooking. so I
Okay,
just need
I'm just
to-
throwing out date, the 29th, also a Wednesday. Does Wednesday work for everybody?
Sure.
July 29th. All right,
I mean, we're just doing Zoom.
yeah.
And it's just gonna be budget. Correct?
Just wildlife, right?
I make no promises on that because I would like to see if we could put some other rules together, but you know.
We might do, if we can fit it in, we might do some valuation discussions, because there is some stuff that I would like to circle up on.
Just have an afternoon meeting on July. I mean, whoever can make it, and if not, just Zoom.
Yeah, I think that's fine. Okay, so July 29th.
That's
Okay,
all right, we want donuts.
It was related to a bear attack on Newford, so it's silly also.
All right, so July 29th is gonna be our kind of update for budget stuff. Grants will be due November 4th. And then we'll do the next grant award meeting December 9th. Okay.
Okay.
Okay, last tab.
Okay. Covered number 3, sort of. What do you want to, no, we did that. We did that, right? Yeah. Okay, how about this 4th item?
Yes, so under tab 5. We got a request from Sabrina Bradford. And she's working with, WSE, which is the Western Sustainability Exchange. They are applying for a grant. And they want to put together training for range riders. That's what the grant is being used for, and they're looking for the Livestock Loss Board to submit a letter of support for the grant, for them getting the grant. So they wrote up on the back of that page, that's the letter that they wrote up for us to submit, so we didn't have to actually write something on their behalf. This is the letter of support that they're requesting us to submit for them.
Anybody know anything about this group?
No, I don't.
Rena?
I was gonna say, do you want me to?
Yeah. Figured you might know something.
Okay, so this is Trina again. So the reasoning behind this, so Western Sustainability Exchange is a ag group. And they work on marketing and all the things ag. And so what Sabrina is doing, she used to work for Fish, Wildlife and Parks. And now I think she's doing her right. Finished it. I can't remember. She's either in the process or she just finished. So what she's doing is the whole idea behind all these range rider programs going on and trying to get more and more range riders out there. Is that sometimes people hire wildlife services range riders, or some people hire some random guy from Texas, or whatever. So she's trying to put together these range rider training programs that are consistent and everybody's learning the same thing, so that when you hire somebody that went through this program, that they know track and sign, they know how to ride, or they know what cows are, all the things that you need in a range rider. So this would just be a training for everyone that wants to be a range rider, or that hires a range rider and wants them to go to this training. They just need the funding to be able to do it. So all Sabrina is asking is for you guys to say, yes, we support you in trying to get this grant to train range riders.
Is this outside the scope of our
There's
vision
absolutely.
of the law that created us?
Well, they're not asking for money.
No, they're not asking for money. I'm just,
It's routine you're a state agency, and it's routine for agencies to be asked to support, like Fish, Wildlife, Parks, Department of Livestock. And then nonprofit organizations, Wolvers, I get these all the time, MSU asking for Department of Livestock to write a letter to support a research project that Animal and Range Science is doing, and, just so they can get USDA funding to do the research. It's very typical ask.
What kind of training did you get, Jordan?
I did a workshop in the Tom Minor Basin it was underneath Anderson was their last name. I'm
Oh, yeah.
Going with the first name.
The principal.
Yeah, there was like probably 2 or 3 day course and I also, not through that, I was doing some winter Wolverine and link stuff, but did do some tracking training as well. But it wasn't required. I mean, it was especially for the Blackwood Challenge, they were pretty much hiring anybody that was willing and just kind of wanted to do it. So I would be in support of having programs like this, but I don't think I would require the range rider to have to go through it.
Yeah,
If the
that's-
producer wanted to just hire whoever they wanted, somebody local and knew the land, I think that could be just as effective, but I would be fully in support of effective training systems if that's a common problem producers are running into, hiring a range rider that probably doesn't have the skill set for what they're looking for.
That's been,
I can't imagine anybody not knowing if their range rider is gonna be capable or not, though. I mean, I certainly would be.
Yeah,
So, that's something to think about.
I think down the line it'll become required.
yeah, I think, what I heard from a lot of the producers in our area is they just kind of wanted somebody that knew the area, so they weren't worried about their safety specifically. They're like wanting to have somebody look after their cows. They didn't want to have to babysit somebody that was driving around or riding around. So I could see somebody preferring either way, but I would be in support of that letter.
Did you just make a motion?
I motion that we support this letter to the Western Sustainability Exchange. Am I reading that right? SARE, that doesn't sound,
that's the name of the grant.
oh, I got you.
Western SARE Research and Education Grant.
Okay, second,
I'll second.
okay. Moving seconded to approve this letter of support, I guess. All those in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
I abstain.
You abstained, did you
Yep.
say? Okay, motion carried 3-1, I guess. Or you didn't vote nay, you just abstained.
Yeah.
Motion carried 3-0, I guess. Okay. Okay. Public comment, unless anybody else has anything, public comment?
Brian, we just got an email from Keely Fitzgerald. And I don't know if this falls into the category of public comment, but if you wanna take a look at that.
Which grant was that?
She was the ATV and the storage.
Okay.
No, the Rebish. Did you say you would want to say something about Leslie too in this meeting before we left?
No, I did, but I was just short.
Oh, okay. Do that now while he's looking at the.
Will you be?
I'll just read it if you don't, if that's
Sure.
okay, it's not that long. Hi, sorry, I just got back into service. Sadly, we had 7 ewes killed by wolves in the last few days. I had to meet with the trapper and show him, very frustrating, as they were beautiful 4-year-old ewes all carrying lambs. Is there any way the board can address paying out for bred animals? Question mark, that's not the end. Losing a cow or a ewe that is about to calve is very hard and financially devastating. I really think animals that are bred to be compensated at a higher rate. I would also like to see livestock guardian dogs be compensated at a higher rate. If they are an older experienced dog. A lot of time and training goes into these dogs, and $500 barely gets a young pup up these days. I just paid $300 per dog for spay and neuter. I know the board's hands are tied a lot on things, but as a large sheep and cattle operation, I think we should make some small changes that would help our producers out more. Losing animals is hard, but getting market value is almost a gut punch these days for one, as one must consider if they are carrying a lamb or a calf. Still unshorn, value of wool fleece in parentheses, age, in parentheses again, young animals has years of production ahead, genetics now lost, close parentheses. Time of year, animals, there's a lot of parentheses. Animals distributed during lambing, calving are unsettled and stressed. Since the wolves started harassing last week, we have had 14 ewes abort that we know of. These are real hardships that we are facing as producers who have livestock on the range. Again, I apologize for missing today's Zoom call to talk about our grant request. Thanks so much. And if the board is interested in hearing about some of our struggles and is open to discussion on how to help producers even more, I'd be happy to put something together. Again, thanks so much, and I hope today's meeting was productive and successful. I appreciate your time. Thanks, Keely.
Well, sounds like we've got lots of things to talk about tonight.
Public comment. Hey,
She made some valid points.
Yeah, but I guess we can't take care of everything.
No, but the bread evaluation, maybe we should look at.
Okay, how do you prove it?
Yeah, maybe she wouldn't even carry a lamb.
You can look them up about.
I mean, there's a lot of ifs.
Yeah, you can. Or are you gonna require that?
Well, that's Wildlife Services.
This to me is opening up a Pandora's box,
Yeah.
because I've heard people say, and my cattle are losing weight, and my calves aren't as heavy as weaning, and this is what I normally get at weaning, so I want to be compensated for what they don't weigh now. I mean, it's a terrible thing this is happening, and at least you could shoot wolves, you know, it's harder with grizzly bears, because
Because we
Butch's
don't
bill
have
is still
nice
just sitting there, and the feds won't touch it, but yeah. You know, it's sad, but, you know, we open
Yeah.
up a box like that and we can start
Oh.
going down a rabbit hole that just won't end.
Yeah.
I agree.
You know, cause you lose weight with your calves and all that, and I totally understand where she's coming from.
Oh,
And I
absolutely.
wish there was a way to do something like
There's
that.
also other issues, weather, rainfall. I mean, there's other things to be considered besides, you know. I mean, it's just where does it end?
We revisit the valuations.
Did you wanna say something, Butch?
Yeah, when you.
Okay.
I mean, after the recording's on?
No, you're still on the public comment. No, I wasn't gonna say anything because I wanna get on the road, so I'll make this real short. But it just when this was brought up right here, it just seems like, you know, we're in this and it's kind of a moving target, and I can see maybe a need to, you know, do maybe some sessions, just brainstorming, you know, how do you justify some of these grants? And, you know, paying for different livestock, maybe, you know, that type of thing. I got hold in on that one, but, and still be fair to the taxpayers. Cause it is, you know, Montana funds most of this. And, you know, we don't get near as much as I think we should from the federal government, especially since there's still on the endangered species. But I can just see that, that everything, whether it's range riders, that to me is a good example. And what Trina just said about making sure they even know what a cow is. You know, I could see this being kind of a fun thing in the summertime for some kid from
Yeah.
wherever. And so, you know, maybe at some point that, you know, could be the need to put some stipulations on, yeah, if you're gonna have a range rider, if we're gonna pay for it, you know, they better have some knowledge of what they're doing, not just out there for the experience. So, anyway, with that, that's all I have to say.
I'll throw this out too. Our son is a teacher. He's a special ed teacher in Minneapolis, and he said, made friends with this kid and said, well, what do your folks do in Montana? And Kent said, well, we ranch. And the kid went, oh God, when I retire, that's what I want to do. And Kent said, let me tell you a little bit about ranching. So, you know, knowing what a cow, I mean, there's a lot more to being knowledgeable, you know. We need to do the ACE program, advocate, educate, and communicate. And yeah,
Guess we have
wanted to
somebody,
retire and ranch. Holy
somebody
cow.
on Zoom that wants to comment.
Yeah, Mr. Chair, there's a Carolyn Johnson. We would just open it up if she wanted to comment.
I don't know.
That's our employee.
Great.
That's a common name.
Yes. Dale and Carolyn both work for the department.
We're all trying to figure out who that was. the whole time.
Dale Highlight to see if he was a anti. Or who
Okay.
did not want to fund scopes.
Okay, anybody, any other comment?
You wanna go first? Fine, I'll go. This is Trina. Couple things. First, I'm the chair of the Montana Conflict Reduction Consortium, which we talked about before. And I just want to thank Leslie for coming to our meetings and being engaged and involved. We really like having Livestock Loss Board perspective and have somebody there to answer questions when we have questions about Livestock Loss Board. So that's been great. Another thing that we've been talking about a lot is the multiplier. There is broad support from producers around the state for a multiplier. And in having conversations with legislators in the past years, they've all said we don't want to pass any funding for a multiplier until the Livestock Loss Board decides what the multiplier is going to be. So it's like a chicken and egg thing. So I would just encourage you guys to talk about a multiplier again. That might be it. Oh, other thing, Blackwood Challenge did request a range rider training for the beginning of this summer, but it didn't happen because our range rider trainer was too busy.
I just think down the road, it's gonna be required to keep a producer from being sued.
That won't even help. I have a good friend that's a lawyer and said there's no way you can ever protect yourself from a lawsuit. Because lawyers make laws for lawyers.
Yeah.
So no matter what, you can be sued.
I think that multiplier thing, you know, I was on a Zoom call last winter for wool growers. Wyoming does a multiplier. And that's a lot of money.
Yeah,
That
it
could-
is.
That could run into a lot of
Yeah.
Depending on- what you do.
That's like saying, when my cows are losing weight, I have that same feeling about the multiplier.
Yeah.
My cows lost weight, so my calves aren't as heavy, so give me that difference in the weight.
Yeah, well, if you see one dead calf, there must be 7 more. They probably killed 7 more or something.
Yeah, I
That's
totally
kind of what
agree.
that is.
This,
I mean, Wyoming does it, but it's funded by the state. They have a totally different program.
Yeah, they do.
They paid out like over $900,000 in grizzly bear depredation in 25, I think, alone. But, yeah. Any more comment? Thanks
I'll
for,
throw a curveball at you guys.
oh, I was gonna thank you for attending, but maybe not.
Grew up in grizzly country, Craig Iron right here. I grew up in grizzly country my entire life. And I've never been scared of grizzlies. And last year I was in a situation where, we're so overpopulated. where we're at.
Oh, yeah.
And
Which is still
so,
needs to be passed.
I'm glad you just brought that up on your phone, because that's what I wanted to comment on. So we've got price tags on everything. So we're lucky,
Oh, exactly.
the producer himself. So there's your curveball.
Good
Yeah.
curveball.
Correct one. So that was just.
Yeah.
Go with that. I know we're right there, I don't know if you guys get the statistics where all these bears are, like you were talking about, there was no depredations in the area, but they're really doing their practices. There's areas where I'm at, I never reported, I just never had them come home. And I've got both, I've got the grizzlies and I've got the wolves. In that year, I had 6 red heifers that didn't come home, and there was a wolf den right behind me. So, there's no way I could prove it. You'd say, give me a carcass, give me an ear tag, I do like that drone thing. I really love that ground.
I think there's gonna be a lot more of that happening, I think.
Because that's what we use the drone for. The brush is so thick, that even the game wardens, you know, they'll use that drone to get over the top and see what's in there. You know, I literally live with grizzlies right behind my house. My dogs are constantly bringing, bones out of the brush. And, you know, those are some of the things that I don't know who to turn to. I have been talking to the big guys up in Washington. But that's the part where, you know, we can shoot wolves during their action, you know, and, I think that's what needs to be done with the business here. Because, you know, a state, the tribe, you know, that's their livelihood. I mean, they talked about dumping the problem bears in the Park Service. And I said, well, if you're bringing a helicopter up in there and dumping them off, you're not dumping them off in the park. You're dumping them off on our reservation. And the thing is they've already had 3 strikes outside here. They're problem bears, so you're bringing the problem bears to us. And then you turn around and ask us to give them 3 more strikes. That's 6 strikes.
Yeah.
So I don't know how that.
Well, you look at those people that got attacked in Yellowstone Park, they're not even gonna, they said they weren't gonna try to find the bears that did it, cause it wasn't their fault.
Yeah. But when
The people said that?
The Park Service,
Oh, yeah.
yeah. For the people that got hurt, I think differently, but
Well, I appreciate you guys' time and your ear.
Thank you for coming.
thank you again, and yeah, that's good.
About it. I did have a couple of reservations and one was a while back when I think somebody was from Europe that was running. But yeah, I didn't get paid for a while because they were back home. I didn't know when was the livestock loss?
Oh, 7.
Yeah. It was another reservation. But I do appreciate your time.
Thank you.
Thank you. All right.
I guess that's it.
I make a motion that we adjourn this meeting.
Noreen Gillespie seconds it.
Okay. All in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.